Hey everybody, welcome to Stay Fishy Friday. Y'all ready to get fishy?
And nothing on there is never go.
As soon as you saw that street or that screen, thing, then we know we're live. You gotta wait till you see me. All right, here we go. The drinking word tonight. Let's go with, I don't know. Let's do it like a tribute. Tonight, we're gonna go with our night nurse. She's coming in tonight. Her name is Marion. Hi, Marion. Love you. So my 3 16-hour days are over with. I got 4 hours of sleep between each ones, and now it's over with. I'm doing good. I'm fine.
Wow, Suan's on a roll here. She wants flaming nipples for a drinking word.
Wow, she's already drinking.
Yeah.
Nick Hyvee says, sick vest, Jerry.
Oh, thank you.
Drinking word is not fish sticks. We're doing a tribute to our night nurse tonight.
We'll try.
Marion, not Mary Jane. You guys, what the hell? I got my see-through fish cup tonight where the fish swim through it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, it's not see-through. Oh, there it goes. Masonic says, how big can a Gucci catfish get in captivity? Same as he can get in the wild, as long as you give him a big enough space. And in the pool pond, he can get up to 5-6 foot. All right, Harley Jen with the verse, Marion. There you go. Marion is our night nurse, and she shows up. Last night, she came through a snowstorm and showed up here. So thank you, Marion. And she keeps buying Tracy little gifts. She just loves Tracy, so she's a great nurse to have. Okay, so now let me give you a little bit of news. This week, this morning, I step on the scale every morning right after I take a piss. And that's the only time I weigh myself, so it's the same every day. Because if you weigh yourself in the morning, then weigh yourself later at night, you're going to weigh more because you're taking water intake, food intake, whatever. Well, I don't take food intake. I haven't eaten in like 4 days. But today, stepped on the scale, 273.3. I am now down 67 pounds from where I started. I was ecstatic. I had to call my sons. I had to call Reaper. I had to tell people.
Lorenz Court says he calls his fish stick Marion.
Oh, okay.
That's sneaking it in there.
Well, maybe Marion likes fish sticks. Not to be known as what show is that with Cartman on there?
What's that?
What show is that? The cartoon with Cartman on it?
Oh, I don't.
South Park. Not to be confused with South Park fish dicks. Okay. Everyone likes fish dicks. No, not everyone likes fish dicks. Loren says, I always stand on the scale after a number 2. It could mean a kilo or 2 less. Yes, but I'm not one of those people that are regular and go every day. I go every 5 or 7 days. So I take that into consideration. But every morning I wake up, I have to piss. So I piss, and then I get on the scale. And then once a week times when I go number 2, well, yeah, I definitely get on the scale after that.
More than we needed to know.
What? Big Rich don't go number 2? Danielle says, could you please? Could I please what? What? I gave Jerry the decision for the drinking word today. And I was like, well, we got, Marion, we could do a tribute to her. And, the only other thing is Skylar. And he's like, oh, no, it's Marion. Oh, which brings me to a point. Some of you people have gone back to Skylar and told her that I'm dissing her. She called me today. We worked out a lot of stuff. She, well, not told, she texted me and said that I was dissing her. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I have not dissed you. I have told the truth. You treated me like shit, and that's why I told you, if you continue treating me this way, you can't live here. She chose to move instead of treating me nicer. That was inconceivable to me. You have a place for free rent. All you got to do is treat me nicer. You know, I didn't understand why you wanted to move at that point, but that's fine. And since then, you know, it's been, you know, like I'm not a close friend no more. I'm like a long time relative you ain't talked to in 10 years. You know, that's how she talks to me now. But today she texted me, and I assured her I do not diss her. I even stuck up for her when Jerry said something. She's not a bad person. She just, I don't understand why she would treat me like shit while living here for free. You know what I'm saying? At least treat the person that's giving you a place to stay nice. But she's one of these people that treats you like gold when you first met her, and then after you get to know her for a while, she'll treat you less and less like gold and treat new people that come over like somebody that's never been here before. She'll go out there and spend hours, you know, giving them a tour, talking to them, being their best friend. When it comes back to me, you know, she gets all snippy and attitudey, and I don't know. She's just one of those people. Yes, Harley, she is back at her mom's. She stays at her mom's. She stays at her dad's a lot. But she's working 3 jobs now at 3 different computer places. She doesn't work for her mother no more. And she's happy. So, and then I just heard, you know, from today's conversation that, you know, she's on the dating apps again. So, who knows? I don't know. I'm not over here dissing her, so you guys don't need to run back to her and tell her that I'm putting her down, because that makes, you know, our life harder. I just didn't understand why she treated me so shitty after I'm doing so much for her. You know, her mother came to me and said, you know, I love it, Richie. Whatever you've done, you know, I've got my little girl back, you know, and she wasn't so, you know, what it was. I figured out not only me teaching her, but not living with her mother. Now she treats her mother like an outsider, which she treats good again. When she was living with her mother, she treated her like shit, and they didn't get along. Now she, you know, lived over here for so long, and her mother, you know, said that, oh, thank you so much. You've done so much. I got my little girl back. I tried teaching her respect is all. And now she's living back with her mother. So let's see how long that lasts.
All right, catch up on a couple of super chats.
Oh, we have super chats?
Yeah, a couple of them.
There you go.
Oh, that's Curtis family. $5.
There you go.
Thank you. Kudos to Marion.
Marion, great nurse. She, you know, she has so, you know, she's a little bit older, so she has a hard time getting here. She has a hard time going through snow, you know, and she makes it. She trudges this trip, you know. So thank you, Marion. Nick Hybe says, wait, number 2 only once or twice a week? Does that make you full of shit? Absolutely. All the time.
Missed another one, but you got in between.
There's one before there? No, there ain't.
No.
It's after.
After. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're getting to that.
That's what I was saying.
There you go.
Megan Table, no message, but thanks for the $5. I'll
Say
say
bye.
Marion for you.
There you go. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it. Nick Hybe says, don't stick up her. Jerry's right. She's not a bad person. She just wasn't raised as well as other people, you know. She's got issues, basically. And everybody does. You know. She's going to come over and visit again. She's actually going to come do a live stream sooner or later when she has time. So Donald Witt says the new generation has no respect whatsoever. They just like new things. I'll go with that. Nick Hybe says Skylar is a fish dick. Kelly Lee says, what app is Skylar on? I don't fucking know. You trying to date her? What the hell? I have no clue. I didn't ask her that.
I jumped a bunch. I think.
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, I read all this. Nick Ivy says, oh, yeah, Skylar live stream. Let Jerry at it. No, Jerry won't be involved that night. Trust me. He won't want to come in here. When is Reaper going to New York? That I don't know. Josh is working out a thing with Rod to take a bunch of fish there. So who knows when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. Who knows? It's a matter of time, though. Tyler Kerr says that'd be a Jerry Springer night. You and Skylar here in the live stream? Contrast New York says, I love your shirt, Big Rich. Happy Friday. Well, thank you. Raheem put in, of course, 50 Marions again. Loren says, don't know who is dating Skylar. She ain't dating nobody, she said, but she went out on a couple days, she said. But I hope for him he's a good listener. Or a feminine guy that just listens, because that's the way all of her last boyfriends have been. I mean, when she came here with Bryce, everybody here was like, oh my God, you need to treat him better. He's such a nice guy. And you know, she just made him listen to her, you know, yelled at him, treated him like shit. I was like, wow. And then I've got a video of her saying, you don't understand, Rich. I've dated nothing but women boys. And I'm like, what do you mean women boys? She goes, all the men I've dated, I've been like pansies. They do whatever I tell them, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, so I don't know. She called them women boys, all of her ex-boyfriends.
Now we got another super chat.
Kevin Deacon.
2 pounds. I think they're still called pounds.
Yeah.
Much love to you all. Big hugs, Team Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I'll drink to that for sure. Thank you. Crazy Cichlid says, hello from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Wow, well, welcome. Nick Ivy says, where in New York is he heading? A bunch of us here are in Rochester. I believe it's Long Island, New York. Look up predatory fins. That's where he's going to. And it's on the little part that sticks out right by the beginning. So I don't know what it's called. In other words, here's the thing. If Skylar started dating somebody new and she called any of her exes and said, I ran out of rubbers, can you bring me over some? It could be 3 a.m. They would get up and do it for her. I don't understand what she has over these guys like that or why a guy would act like that, but they would get up and do it. Raheem says, Jerry is getting pissed when you say Tyler's name.
Not pissed. I just don't care.
Ken Gummy says, when you get in glass for the 3,000, I mean, this week, sometimes it's whenever both my boys can spare some time that they can go down to Medina and pick it up. So, I mean, it's a matter of time. It's getting done. We got, well, my video for Monday, you'll see we got both top tanks filled and up and running and everything good going. The middle tank is empty because it's just up there for storage. We got the shelf done. We're just now waiting on the window. God, dang it. It's all good here, but
I'll go get a bar.
it's down in the keyboard for sure. So once we get the glass for the 4,000, then both tanks on each end that are full now up to the overflow now we can have the pumps pumped in and run over the overflow and go back down to the tank. So they'll be on our system. Right now, they're not on our system. They're only full about an inch below the overflow. And we can have fish in there because we put, what do you call them? Sponge filters in there that were active in the other tanks. So they are pre-seeded. And now we can put the two Midas in there, and we can put the new fish coming in. Being that it's only a single fish in a 400-gallon tank, the one sponge filter will work fine. So, you know, it's a matter of time. Once we get it hooked up, then they'll be hooked up on our system. Thank you, Jerry. It wasn't spilled that much. We did good. Or I did good.
I didn't realize how wet my socks were until I took off walking across the carpet.
It makes your feet cold. Yeah, the whole wetness out there, it was ridiculous. Okay, we got another.
Nah, it's the same one, I believe.
No?
Yep, same one.
No. If it's the same one, sorry, but Kevin Deacon for £2 says much love to you and our big hugs, Team Tracy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
We'll get you twice.
That's because we're so nice.
Ouch.
Oh shit! Red flag means it's the time of the month for women in the Netherlands.
Oh,
Red flags here means something you see in a new dating partner that you don't want to see. It's a red flag. You run from it. John's everything and anything's says, is Herbie okay? It looks like his shell was chewed on the Reaper video. Yeah, we had him in with the giant pleco that we had, the Adonis pleco that passed. And before we had to move him out of there and into the 3,000-gallon tank in with the Pacu because that's what he did to the shell. He was on it and he was sucking on it and he did that. So it is healing up. It's taken a while, of course, but it is healing up. We can see, you can't see on camera, but we can see that the wounds are closed up. Now we just got to wait for the skin to overtake it. But he's doing okay. We take him out every day, put on some, what's that red stuff called? Biocurachrome or something?
Mercurochrome.
Not mercurochrome, but it's this red stuff we put on his sore every day. We pat it dry. We put this on there to kill all bacteria and put it back in the water every day. He's doing good. And Contrast says predatory fins are on Long Island. They're at the beginning of Long Island, yes. Crazy Chris says, I commented on your video from Wednesday, but wanted to jump in on live to say how much I appreciate what you all do at OFAR every day to keep the machine running. Well, thank you. I'm gonna make an executive decision and say, Miriam, here's to you. Loren says, I would tell Skylar to go to the toy store and get some balloons. You know, I once took her to, it's a place called Be a Sweetie Candy Company. And it's like a grocery store that's nothing but candy. You can find candy from 50 years ago that you haven't seen on the shelves. And I took her in there and I swear to God, it was the happiest I've ever seen that girl. She was running around this and that and wanting to get this and wanting to get that. She was very happy at that store. Monster Fish Keeping says, let's go. Ohio Fish Rescue is the best. Oh, thank you. Oh, I think it jumped. I'm going back. Okay. Depth charge says, now your keyboard's going to slur when you type. Ah, that's funny. Monster Fishing says, what are your 5 favorite fish that are there now, Big Rich? Well, of course, the arapaima, the GATF, the goonch, the paraiba, and then probably the Peruvian shark right behind that.
I thought the arowana again.
And then if I have to go 10, then you'd have ammonite, fly river turtle, high fin banded sharks, alligator gar. Oh, and then the long feelered, the Lieris pictus, the marble cats. Sebastian says, I'm glad you and Josh find middle ground painting the bar black and blue. Yeah, we always see that's the success to all relationships. If you have a problem with this and I have a problem with that, let's meet in the middle. And then we're both happy and we can go on from there. That's kind of like the problem with Skylar. It's her way or no way. She's not happy unless it's her way. And that became a problem because it can't always be. I kept trying to tell her, if like President Obama or President Trump came in here or any other, high standard person that has done better in life than me, I would listen to them. She wants to come into the room and take charge and make everybody listen to her, but you're just some girl that got thrown out of your mother's house. Why would we listen to you? You know what I'm saying? I own, 9 properties all paid for. I own my house paid for. I don't have a car payment. I bought everything cash. You should listen to me. I kind of know a little bit, and that was where we kind of butted heads. But Dominic says, Rich, what are your thoughts on fiberglass aquariums? Well, I love them, except for, usually they're pre-made, and then you only got this little window in the front side because the corners have to be reinforced and all that kind of stuff. But the bigger tanks, my 4400 is fiberglass reinforced plastic. And I love that tank. That tank is amazing. It's FRP.
They have their place in the hobby, just like everything else.
Yeah, Crazy Cichlid says, Rich, do you ever think of doing a bridge over the pond pool? For the last 4 years, I've been dreaming of putting a bridge over that pool. Not only putting a bridge, but making a thin bridge over the pool with a little bit of art, okay? And then in the middle, having like a 500 or 1,000-gallon tank upside down, like a round tank, upside down where the water wants to push it up, right? You open up a little panel in the bridge and you climb down in, and there's a rotating seat in there, and with your weight it may take it down or it may still want to sit up, but the bridge is holding it up, plus it's holding up the center weight of the bridge, and then you can rotate around and see in 360 degrees all the way around you. I thought that would be like the bomb. I need to do that. All right, Donald Hewitt says, I'm picking up my second Asian arowana here next week. It's 2 feet long, so do you think bins will be okay to move it? Of course, with a lid. It's been a while since I've been in freshwater, since I've been in saltwater for 5 years. Well, the problem with arrows and arapaima, they only start jumping when they feel enclosed. Okay? Look at it this way. When the river's overflood and it gets, a mile wide, everything, all the fish get displaced. And then when it dries up for dry season, there's monster puddles everywhere. And fish jump from puddle to puddle looking for food and a bigger area. And they end up back in the river. That's how they were born. It's in their psyche. That's in their nature, So when you have an arowana, everyone's like, oh, they jump. We don't have ours jumping at all in the pool pond. They have enough area to swim. They don't feel like they're in too small a place. They never jump. We try and get them to jump, by holding food up out of the water and stuff. So, yeah, the smaller, the more they feel enclosed, the more they're going to jump. So if you put an arowana in a tub, it's going to want to jump for sure. Make sure you got a lid and put clamps on there on all 4 corners to hold that down, along with an airline with, air. We got 5 minutes till the Tracy update. I'm keeping track, guys. I'm watching Tracy right here on my Tracy, thing. So. Betadine. Thank you. That's the solution I use. Betadine solution. Sometimes I just can't pull a word, and it's not that I'm stupid. It's just that, I'll be looking at Jerry and be like, "Can you hand me that yellow thing you write with?" And he'll be like, "A pencil? Yeah, that's it. That's the word, pencil." I just can't pull it up sometimes, and that's because of the brain surgery I had and the memory loss. My memory's getting much better though.
It's hard to just get on to answer. Am I? Good luck, Monster Fish.
I can't put it. Well, I have a Tracy cam, I guess, but I can't put that online for others to see. I change her all the time. She's naked in there. I have curtains around her we can pull up so nobody can walk through the house and see her. Certain amount of respect you got to give somebody. Just the same as Skylar. When she was living here, if she'd have went down, I would have been taking care of her. Just because you're part of the family. And I tried telling her that I never said anything bad about you. I just said the truth. So I'm not dissing you. I'm not making up stuff. I didn't like the way you treated me. And I asked you to stop or you're going to have to move, and you chose to move. That's on her. That ain't me. Sebastian says, "Are you planning to do another 5-hour marathon like last Friday?" No. Oh, let me tell you about that story about that. I found out why. Remember, usually I do 3 drinks every Friday, and then, I don't want to get too drunk. But last Friday, I drank like 6 or 7 drinks. The vodka one of my buddies brought over for me, and that's what I was using. And, I do 3 fingers in the bottom of this big cup, which is 3 fingers right there. I do 3 fingers of vodka, and I fill it up with water, right? So the funny thing is, after I get done doing that 5-hour live stream, and I'm like, I don't even know why I didn't catch a buzz. I did catch a slight buzz, and I was talkative. I'm not really talkative unless I got a buzz. So I found out the vodka he brought me was 42 proof. I drank this all night long and got a very slight buzz, and I couldn't understand it. And I drank like double what I normally drink. So it all made sense once I found out the vodka was 42 proof. He didn't go to the liquor store and bought it. He bought it from a grocery store or some shit. Tyler Kerr says, "Never think twice about what you do or how you do. When you start to feel that way, then take a second and think about, you're doing this. You're doing great, big guy. Keep it up." Oh, well, thank you. Raheem says, "Skylar's an attention. She has to live in the attention. If the attention ain't on her, she gets upset and mad and makes the attention on her." But, she is a nice person. She is a good girl. And she's definitely good looking. So, I mean, it's just that whoever dates her is going to have to put up with some shit. That's all. Sean says, "Rituals like this vodka just ain't working." That's what I was. I was like, normally I drink 3 drinks and I feel drunk and I quit. I drank like 6 drinks last Friday and stayed on for 5 hours. Wow. It wasn't working. It made me talkative. It made me, it made me feel like talking, and everything that drunk gets me without getting drunk. I might switch to 42 proof at this point. Monster Fishy says, "Love the fish behind you in the tank, by the way. They're so amazing." That's our, what was the name of that? Bellagio Casino tanks. They were made on the show tanked, and then the 2 20-foot tanks were side by side, and they were tall on 5-foot stands, and you got to walk on this thing in between. And you got to, like that circle right there, you see that whole circle of coral, your face will be down here like this high on the stand, and you can get a selfie. There was a picture on the outside. I think it was $5 or $10 a picture, and you could walk in there and get a selfie like that. And you'd be in the middle of that arch right there. And we took them and put them apart and put them 20 foot plus another 20 foot. So it's a 40-foot long, you know, set of tanks. It looks great.
Tracy time.
Yes, it's 6:30. It's Tracy time. All right, let's go. Somebody put down 6:30. It's Tracy update time. Hashtag Team Tracy, everybody. She has done so good this week. I mean, it's like so easy to watch her. She's staying between 98 to 100. She's doing good. Let me tell you, let's see what she's on right now. She's on 99 right now, and I haven't touched her, I swear, in an hour and a half. She's just sitting there. She's doing so good. She's not sick. She's not having a problem. You know, I change her. Okay, here's my schedule with her. An hour after breakfast, an hour after lunch, an hour after dinner, and that's about 4 o'clock. There's 3 changes in. Then I change her because an hour after dinner, she don't have no more fluids. So I change her around anywhere between 7 and 9 o'clock at night. And then I don't have to change her until like 6 in the morning when, you know, the nurse is coming at 7. And that way the nurse has got a fresh, you know, cleaning, and then she has to wait an hour after she feeds her. So, I mean, we got that down packed. It's working great. She's never too wet, you know. And there was times when we were like, you know, a nurse says, "Oh, I just changed her," and we go to change her, and she's completely soaked. No, you didn't change her. There's no way. Since we've been doing this schedule, she's never had, you know, a full heavy change. I hate to say the word diaper, but you know, we take care of her that way. So now we've got a way to where her skin is less bothered. She's hardly ever red, you know, because there was times when, you know, there was a weekend nurse here or something that just didn't know and whatever. It wasn't a good nurse or whatever. So, you know, they'd leave her in her and then change her right before she left. And, you know, she's all red for the next nurse, and butt's red, the front's red, you know, it's like, this shouldn't be. You're leaving her in, you know, that piss and ammonia the whole time, you know? So the way we got it now, me, Latrice, and Marion, and then we have Nurse Jackie on weekends. We keep her changed. And you know what? None of us are lazy, so none of us are keeping her in there, and she's not getting red no more. She's not getting, and redness is irritation, you know? She can't itch herself. She can't tell us. So why have her like that? We work this out to where everything is working great, you know? And not to mention, she's so, you know, just today, you know, I go there, I'm like, "Hi, honey," and she looked right at me, turned her head and everything, and I'm like, "Oh, you look at me. I love when you look at me," and I start talking to her and tell her about all kinds of things, and she'll get absolutely upset with you. Like, she'll listen to me for like 5 minutes, and then after that, she's like, "Oh, I'm done listening," and she'll turn away. I'm like, "Oh, am I bothering you? Does the sound hurt you? I mean, why would you turn away from me?" it was she's something else. She's great. But yeah, she's doing so well. And Bob the Piercer says, "My friend Mike used to date Skylar. She's a crazy lady." Mike who? What's his last name? Let me know. Bob the Piercer. Okay. Was he one of the women boys? Because when she moved in here, she was just got done dating Bryce, and she dated him for like 2.5 years. And you know, we were all like, "Oh my God." The Wicked Gypsy says she'd been with Bryce since school. Well, she told me she was with him for 2.5 years. She may have known him before that, but she said she was dating him for 2.5 years. OG Foster says, "Does Tracy respond to her favorite music?" You know what? I put her music on all the time, but it has to coincide with her moments of clarity. Like when she's in clarity, she'll look at you and follow you around. Then if I put on something like Eagles Hotel California, I imagine she would. But every time that I see her that she's in clarity, I start talking to her. I always try and tell her about, you know, she has a granddaughter, she has grandson now, you know, she needs to come back to us, blah, 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 this and that, you know. So Wicked Gypsy says, "Nope, school time." Well, she's 25 now. She was 22 and a half when she moved in here. So school time is 18 to 22. So that's 4 years. Well, then she lied to me. I don't know. Lauren says 2.5 years. That boy has to go get a shrink. You guys are so mean. Lauren says, is Bambi in the house? Is Bambi here? I haven't seen her forever. But then again, I haven't seen Sebastian either, and he's back. So come on, who's this guy that dated Skylar? We'd like to know his last name. He said she was absolutely crazy. His friend Mike. Bob the Piercer. There you go. Well, I've got more info, but I just can't. It's not mine to put out there. So she dated a few guys before she was here. Lori says, Wicked Gypsy says, I hide in the dark. You never know when I'll pop up. That's the truth. Bob the Piercer says, Mike Roche. All right, I'll talk to her about that. Actually, I'll send her a message real quick. I suppose last name. Oh, it's not the same Sebastian? Okay. Well, he was in love with her, and after she left, I haven't seen him, so I think it's something to do with that. R-O-C-H-E. All right. As far as the Tracy update being over now, we got Latrice comes in every day from 7 to 3, Monday through Friday. And Lauren says that boy is locked up in an asylum. But then we have Marion comes in a few nights a week from 11 o'clock until 7 in the morning. And then we have Nurse Jackie comes in for 2 days on the weekend for 12 hours. And that's when I get my most sleep is the weekend. I get caught up. So this team of nurses are doing great. Other than, calling off holidays, I kind of got a little bit, on my days of doing 16 hours, when the day nurse calls off for a holiday, I can't say nothing about that. But she called off for New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day during the middle of this, where I didn't have nobody for 64 hours. I'm like, that's a bit much. You don't need to call off New Year's Eve because you're working from 7 in the morning until 3. You can go home and prepare for New Year's Eve. You don't have to call off. And, that put me out so bad because I didn't have no break in them 3.5 days. I had 64 hours straight, and I was ready to kill the world. It was terrible. So I don't know. Can you let Josh know I apologize if my comments on the videos with Dogbone Tank upset him? I didn't mean them to come off judgmental. I just know what I know and didn't mean to pry with info. Yeah, no problem. We don't even remember who said anything about that. He just was agitated that day because so many people laid into him, Wicked Gypsy says they were friends. Well, I knew that. She said they only dated the 2.5 hours or 2.5 years. And we were all like, when we met her, like, geez, you need to treat that guy better. He puts up with a lot of shit. And she treated him like dirt. Sebastian says, thank God it was not me who was in love with Skylar. You guys are killing me. Summerlee says, I don't think it's the same Rich or same Sebastian. I think it's his schedule. He still comments on the vlogs. Okay. Well, you know, you put two and two together, you come up with something you think it's right, you know. All right. Time for drink number 2. There we go. As far as Tracy, anything else I can say? Me and Latrice went through her 2 tables of supplies today and organized that and got rid of a bunch of stuff we don't use no more. I don't know. I mean, we got her in the best hands possible. Latrice does an amazing job. Marion does an amazing job. Nurse Jackie does an amazing job. And then once a week for 4 hours, we got Beatrice, which she might be here soon. It's 6:41. I think she comes from 7 to 11 on Friday nights. I'm not sure, but geez, we jumped a bunch here. Lawrence Cortha says Jerry had feelings for Skylar. A feeling to run away. Nick Ivy says, I'm smoking with you, Big Jerry. Bob Pierce says, when is Reaper coming to Long Island? But wait, as far as Tracy, she's really well. She's really taken care of. She's doing so good. She don't even need this thing in her trachea no more. She can have that removed, and she breathes on her own. She does so well. I don't know, you know, other than the doctor saying she can't come off of the trach until she's into the minimally conscious, meaning she's awake and she can like comb her hair, shake your hand, say hi, you know, them kind of, you know, very minimal things. Once she's at that point, he'll take the trach out. But before that, there's no way for us to go in and suction her out if she can't convey to us that she's, you know, needs suction out. So I understand it. It's just that she's worked herself off of every other machine, and then this machine here, you know, all it does is it gives a moist, warm air that is blowing in her trach cover. So when she breathes in, she gets moistness because she's not breathing in through her mouth or her nose, and it don't go through your nasal cavity, warm up and get moist before it hits your lungs. So you can get something called a mucus plug, which it's like mucus in your lungs that so much dry air is going past, it dries out, and then that part of your lung is blocked off. So we don't ever want her to get that, you know. So she's getting this moist air pushed towards her trach, and she breathes it in. So that's the only machine she's on, though. I mean, she's doing really well. And even with that, we've got it turned down to its lowest setting, and she's still at, you know, 98, 99, 100 at all times. She's always doing really good. So I'm proud of her. She's doing good. I just wish she'd come back to us soon, you know. It's been, as of February 5th, 2020, as come this January now, come February 5th, it will be 6 years I've been, you know, taking care of her and doing this. You know, I've heard other people waking up after 10 years, 15 years. It's just like, it's so much to take care of, though. I mean, it's so hard. So when you get a good nursing staff, then you can take a little bit of a break. Like I'm hoping this year to get to Aquashella in Florida and Aquashella in Chicago. I didn't really like the Dallas Aquashella, and I don't know the new one yet. I think it's over in New Jersey, but I at least want to get to those two. So I need my nurses to promise me they're not going to call off, that they'll be here. And then I also need a backup like Josh and his wife or something that could step in case something happens, you know, before I can leave for the weekend. Sugar Bear says, what was the first fish you started your empire with? Well, I had a lot of fish all my life, and alligators and, you know, exotic animals and stuff. But the first fish that I got that made me want to buy bigger tanks was an arapaima. And he got to 4 foot in our tanks, and wow. It was crazy. I had to buy bigger. I wanted more. I wanted a big arapaima. I just love that fish. Time Continuum says, "Is that Reaper?" No, this is Reaper's dad. His name is Jerry.
Crypt keeper.
The Crypt Keeper. Or, what was the other one?
Throw-
Bodacious Bob? Was that it?
No, that's not it.
What would I call you on Halloween? Bootylicious Bob or something shit?
Some shit. Mostly some shit.
Oh, you stop it.
You're looking at the Over the Hill Rescue Crew.
Yes, sir. How have you got so many cichlids in the tank? I got 20 in a 12-foot tank. If I buy any more, it says 4 more. I lost 4 to make 20 again. Really? Because we just feed them, and that's it. We don't do nothing, and they keep multiplying. And thousands of babies go through the filtration, and I'm sure get killed by that 10,000 gallon per hour pump and its armature. But they make it past that and end up in every other single tank we have. The 4400 is completely covered. At least 70 cichlids in there now. They're everywhere in there. That's how they got in the pool in the first place. They just started, you know, oh my God, it's crazy. So I don't see the problem. It's so easy. You just feed them and they do their thing.
There's a super chat.
Nothing I know of, it'd be up here. Beefcake Bob, that was it. You Beefcake Bob. Everybody loved it that week.
We did a sugar bear. It was the same question you just answered about how it started yet.
Yeah.
But he said the super chat a little bit later.
Oh, he did? I'm sorry. I didn't keep up.
That's okay. I mean, I'm accepting his apology for you, sugar bear. You're welcome.
Go back. Oh, yeah, there you go. $4.99.
Yeah.
What was the fish you started your hobby with, and did you have one certain type you kept? I like to keep all man-eating fish because I have an area where I can grow them bigger and you don't get to see them much, you know? I like to keep any exotic or rare fish. I mean, we get in Oscars all the time. I'm not keeping Oscars because, you know, I came from Florida. You ever been fishing? Like up here, it's bluegill. Down in Florida, it's Oscar. You try and catch that let's say, a alligator gar in the canals of Florida. And the Oscars come up and take your stuff. And then you got an Oscar, you throw it back. As soon as you hit the water again, an Oscar comes up and takes your line. You're like, dang it, I'm trying to catch that. So Oscars were like garbage fish in Florida. And they were just everywhere, the whole canals. And they're like bluegill up here. I mean, they'll attack anything. So I come up here and I was truly amazed that people are selling Oscars up here. They're called mud daubers in Florida, you know. And I haven't been in Florida for years, but like 20 years.
Those that guy brought in those little about 4 inches young Oscars. They had that chain pattern. Tiger Oscars.
Uh-huh.
They were wild caught in Florida, and they had that chain pattern on them.
Okay.
I haven't seen that for.
They bred with somebody somehow, a mine cichlid, something, and then all of a sudden, boom, they got a new strain.
Well, no, they're not a crossbreed. The old chain pattern used to be on the tiger.
Melissa says, it's Jerry, not Reaper. Don't have to be rude. No one's being rude. We're all joking here.
Jeez.
It's okay, Melissa.
The man-eater catfish you have in the monster pond?
That's a jow cat.
Yeah.
We have a jow. We have a goonch. We have a few goonch. We have a Paraiba.
Actually, we've got 4 goonches now.
Right. So there's 3 of the man-eaters right there. How is Butter doing? I don't know. She finished her hours and she's gone. I haven't seen from her since. Colin Churchill says, glad to hear she's doing better. I think that's about Tracy. Yes, Melissa says, unbelievable. It's been 6 years. It is. It's like just last year I was sitting there taking care of her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week and sleeping on her bed. You know, like I'd sleep right next to her bed with my head down like this. And now, you know, things are so much different. You know, we got a good nursing crew now.
4 goonches. 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 4 goonches
the Vanilla family says, hey, Rich, what's going to be in the touch tank once it's ready for livestock? It's basically ready tomorrow. We could have filled it tonight. Now that I changed my idea, oh, you didn't even see. That's the video for Monday. I'm sorry. We could have filled it tonight. We didn't get around to working on it because Josh didn't show up, but you know, it takes two people to do what I want to do to it. So, but yeah, we're getting ready to fill that. We filled a couple of other tanks. We got a bunch of other stuff taken care of. Wait till Monday's video. You're gonna like it. Kelly Van Hughes says, shout out from Port Clinton, Ohio. Here's to you, Marion. Bob Taylor says, the ghost of Beefcake Bob. Mandy Davis says, love that shirt, Rich. Thank you. Bob Pearson says, Marion. You hear that pounding? Who is that? Sound like somebody hitting something with a hammer.
On the outside wall on two sides. Must be next door.
All right, we caught up to the end of the thing there. His buddy watches us constantly on the live stream. Said he used to date. All right. Monster Fishy says, so many amazing fish you have. It's incredible. Well, thank you. I really don't have nothing else to report about Tracy. So, I mean, sorry, but I hope you like the Tracy update. It's all good. She's doing so well. And oh, today we started putting her feet bracing back on because her feet started pointing down again, which is called ballerina feet. So she's gone like 6 months without these braces. And now she's starting to occur again, which means your calf is like getting tight and shortening. So these shoes, you put these things on her feet. Oh my God.
Is the music on?
No, somebody's at the front door.
Oh, that's Beatrice.
Yep. Beatrice is here. So you put these on her, and then there's two straps. You pull from the front toes to her calf, and then you put them on, Velcro, and it pulls her foot up like this. We started using them again tonight. So, hopefully within a week or so, she'll be fine again. We got rid of it last time. We can get rid of it again.
Pizza's here.
Hong Kong Johnny says, does anyone hear music playing in the background? There's no music playing here.
That's why I asked about if there's music playing on your Tracy monitor.
Hong Kong Johnny says, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Oh, great.
We're back in the 60s doing
more games.
Yeah.
I like
Listen here, Barnacle Boy.
Hey, I like Train Club Northwest New York there. Says pizza's here. Must be his place.
Oh no, he said somebody's at the door and they go, pizza's here. Probably.
Yeah, right. It's not funny around here.
Bill Lynch says, Rich, on that waterfall Josh wants to build, why not make it so big the fish can swim around back and make the falls a mating area for the cichlids? Waterfall and increase the oxygen. Okay, here's the problem with that. To hold up all that rock to have a waterfall all the way to the bottom, you're going to have that solid. Okay? That defeats the purpose of the cichlid wall. The cichlid wall is going to come out from one side, come out, between every rock, there's going to be a 3 or 4 inch gap, and the next rock's going to sit on top. So it's going to be 2-3 inches tall. Gaps between every rock. Right now, that wall is in there just to have the rocks down there with no gap between them. So there's going to be a lot higher and a lot more rock with putting gaps between every one of them. So if we do the waterfall like he wanted, it's just taking up space and making the pool smaller for all the big fish. So screw that. We hit a compromise. We're going to do a rock waterfall from the base of the stand up to that hole and you know we're going to have a couple different waterfalls coming down, but the cichlid wall will still be coming out and going under half of that stand and going back. Oh, I was reading something. Okay.
Oh, that's bad. I just looked at, yeah, the bubbles right in the top peak of my hat. That's bad balance. Yeah. Somebody said it made it look like I was thinking.
Nick Hybe says, "I'm sorry, somebody deleted it. I'm sorry, whoever deleted it. You were right, but I choose to answer this." Says, "Sorry to ask again. I don't know if you saw my comment, and I'm sure it's an amazing story, Rich. I doubt this is true, but my buddy told me you were involved in a huge cocaine raid." Yes, this was back in 1988. I got thrown out by my father at 15. I made it to Florida on my Honda 125 by siphoning gas. Took me 2 weeks. Got to Florida, couldn't live with my grandmother. She wouldn't let me move in with her. So I was living under a bridge there. I worked my way through these work world temp agencies, and the problem with that is you have to give them ID. I didn't have no ID saying I was 18. I was only 15. So I worked at each temp agency for a couple of weeks until they demanded my paperwork. I kept telling excuses like, oh, it's coming from Ohio, blah, 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 this and that. I worked myself up into having an efficiency, which was a house that rented out $75 rooms that were like one bedroom was cut into 3 bedrooms, just small little 6 foot by 8 foot rooms. And everybody in the house shared the one bathroom. I went from there to get my own apartment. Then I went from my own apartment to getting a car. Then I came back to Ohio at 17. I finished school and, lived on my buddy's couch. And, I never had to go to jail for that or nothing like that. It was my first time being in trouble type thing. So, yeah, I did go through that, though. When I came back up here, I met a guy named Carlos that was just like throwing, cocaine at me. Go sell it and bring me back the money. And I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I did this for a year, and then I got raided, and they took the house that I had paid for and everything I owned. I had 3 hot rods. I had 3 4-wheelers. 1 4-wheeler, 2 3-wheelers. And then I had like 3 Cal 900s. And they took everything, sold it at a public auction. I got out of jail. I owned nothing. So, no, I haven't touched drugs since 1988. So that's just the way it is. Something that happened in my past. And, I had kids, and I told them, just stay away from drugs. It's not worth it. And that's how they're living their life too. So, I've had people actually quit the channel because I was an ex-drug dealer. But you know what? Screw you. I did what I had to do as a child being thrown on the streets. It's nothing I would do today. It's nothing I would do in the last, 30 years. It's just 88, 98, 2008, 2018. In 2018 to be 30 years. So it's 28 years ago what it happened. Oh my God, Lori. Yeah. I can't even read that out there, but Josh has got plenty for sure. Not the drugs. Here's a good question. Michael Johnson says, when are you upgrading the goonch? It looks like he's getting massive. He is. And that's what scares us. We don't want to move him and put him somewhere where he's not going to eat and has to compete with food, because right now he's growing so big and he's doing so well. We put food down in there, and he's the only one that goes after it, The stingrays we feed on the other side. The goonch we put right down over top of his head, and he eats it up. If he goes into the pond, he will try and hide away for the day, and then at nighttime he'll come out searching for food. So are we going to be able to put food in there that will hit him in his head and he'll eat it? You know what I'm saying? There's the dilemma me and Josh are at. Right? We don't want to move him, but we want to. We want him in the pond for sure. Yeah. Mr. Fishy says that's all in the past. We're in 2026 now. Learn and you forget. I've learned, but I've never forgot. I mean, the law, there's no fighting the law. They take what they want, they do what they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. They took, I think they found like 20 grand in cash. And you know, they didn't even let me lock the house before they took me away. They left my house open. I had like 25 guitars all up in my upper room. They were all gone. I had all my clothes had gone through. They took all the good clothes. I had moccasins, black moccasins, you know, gold moccasins. I had jackets that matched the moccasins. All that stuff was gone. The only thing left was like underwear and junk clothes. You know, all my money was, and the money that they took to get the deal I had, which was 4 years probation, I had to give up the money. Otherwise, I don't get this deal. I mean, that's highway robbery. I needed that money. I didn't have a place to live. I was staying in a pickup truck and going to court, you know? So, I mean, the law sucks. But it's a big deterrent from ever thinking you can do that again and get over, because they're not stupid at all. They know what you're doing. They knew what I was doing for 6 months before they raided me. For sure. Hi, Beatrice. Thank you. Train Club says, do you have any Mexican walking fish? Axolotls. Oh, I didn't know they were called that. No, not since Kathy was here. We had a bunch of axolotls that she was breeding, and they kept on having babies, and it was cute and cool, but we haven't had them since she was here. Scott Hodgkin says, hi, Rich. How's it going, brother? I don't look at you any different for that. You know, I've raised my kids, and they didn't move out until they were 28. I can't imagine throwing a kid out at 15 because he has some girl, you know, playing strip quarters in your pigeon coop. That's why I got thrown out. My dad came home and a naked girl in his pigeon coop, and he got pissed off and threw me out. You know what's messed up about that is I didn't talk to him for like many years. And then when we did talk again, somebody asked me a question, and I had to, oh no, I was thrown out when I was 15. And my dad was like, no, I never. And my little brother, he's like, oh yeah, Dad, we snuck out blankets for Rich. He slept between two trees in the snow in the back of your pigeon coop. And then you found out he was living on the property and you threw him off your property. He apologized to me, but he don't even remember it. How? I can't imagine looking at your 15-year-old kid and saying, go fend for yourself. You know, I can't imagine that at all. But I did what I had to do to get ahead. That was what was presented to me. I wish it wasn't. And that's on my record now. There's nothing I can do about it. Nick Hybe says, proud of you, Big Rich. Well, thank you. Benny Davis says, you still got a great dad, Rich. Whatever you're doing, or whatever you've done in the past, he is a good dad. I mean, he hasn't seen Tracy in 6 years. He don't come up here and visit much. Once every 2 years, we have to go out to his house. But, I mean, I'll give him this. He was a dad that always went to work. He worked at the Chevy plant for 35 years. He was always there. And we were left home basically alone with my stepmother, who just hated my guts. We later got past that. And, you know, once I had kids, I brought the kids out. She mellowed out on me. And, you know, I talked to my dad again. And, you know, we got back together. It's been like 15, 20 years since then. So we got a nice relationship now. DJ Max says, Rich is one of the hardest working guys I've ever known. Well, thank you. Donald DeWood says, can you set up a massive 400 to 500 gallon saltwater coral tank? I so wanted to. I had everything I still have everything I need. But every time we needed, you know, here's a spot we can put my saltwater tank. We're going to set it up. Josh would be like, we got more fish coming in. We need to use that for freshwater. And I kept, okay. Now all my saltwater stuff is underneath the Dwight Howard tank, and it completes. There's a complete Apex unit with the extra plugs and the dosing system and all this other stuff. You know, everything's orange. It all matches. I got a complete setup for saltwater, but we don't have room for saltwater now. So. Dreamland Allergic says, I left home when I was 16 because it wasn't a safe place to live. Sorry about that. I worked and took care of myself. It was easier in the 80s than it is now because dollars went further back then. For sure. For absolutely sure. Oh, you know what I ate? I went to Florida. I think I was like 240. I was big for my size at that point. And at nighttime, I could go out there and pick grapefruits off of trees and oranges. And that's all I ate. We'd fill a whole pillowcase full of grapefruits. And the next day, that's what I ate. So for like 30 days, I ate nothing but grapefruits. And I lost 55 pounds that month. I was so skinny coming back from Florida. It was crazy. Nick Hyvey says, you were balling out. Yeah, I had a bunch of cool clothes. I had a bunch of cool guitars, a bunch of cool cars, a bunch of cool dirt bikes and stuff, and they took it all. So I wasn't balling out. It was a pretense thing. Don't fuck with drugs. You get the law involved in your life, and you get nothing. You get nothing. Train Club says, did you start growing out your hair in prison? What makes you think I've been to prison? I mean, I have, but only for 6 months in the federal penitentiary because of something my kid did. I had to take the blame for so that he didn't lose his job with the government job he's got. If he got any charge, any felony, he'd lose his job. So I had to say it was me only. And I got 1 year in federal penitentiary, which they gave me a split sentence, which I had to do 6 months on house arrest and 6 months in the federal penitentiary. And they don't cut your hair in the federal penitentiary. And then I had to do 4 years of probation. And I did all that because I don't do no drugs. So, I mean, it's no big deal. Call me in, whatever. I'll piss for you. You know what the most embarrassing thing was? I thought, okay, you're going to piss for him. You go into a bathroom. You're not allowed to do nothing. You get searched for, you go in. So you got no, like, bottles of pee or nothing. No, it ain't like that. You go in the bathroom. He stands right beside you, and he watches your... You have to pull it out, and you have to piss in front of him and fill this cup. I'm like, that was the strangest thing. I've never been naked in front of another guy in my life. That was crazy. Nick Hyvey says, they are criminals themselves, the law. Absolutely. They strong arm robbed me, you know, when they raided me. They're saying, oh, well, you made it from drug money. But, you know, a lot of that wasn't drug money. That was buying and selling cars, buying and selling dirt bikes, this and that. And I guess it originated from drug money, but I don't know. I left there with nothing. I lived in a pickup truck, and that was it. I made it from that point to now. You know, I own 9 properties, all paid for. I own my house paid for. I don't have a car payment. I've done all that working above the table, just busting ass every which way. I had like 5 avenues of money coming in. I was a bouncer. I played out in the band 3 nights a week. For this is years. I was a painter for Earl Scheib and then Mako. And then I turned that into, I had my own carpet business for years. I was selling on eBay everything I could buy in the neighborhood. You know, I just had many different avenues of money coming in, and I built what I built. I bought houses, and then, you know, we rented them out, and, you know, they paid for themselves basically. So. Monster Fishing says, look at all the amazing fish you have now. I have some incredible fish, but also I have some incredible tanks and an incredible property, you know, that I can't really sell because somebody would have to have millions of dollars, you know, to buy this place for their own purpose to have fish. Like I would leave. Somebody gives me a $1.5 for my house, I'll leave. I'll go buy, a 40-foot RV and I'll just travel around and go enjoy myself and take care of Tracy. And Joshy would start having tanks at his house and not be as big as OFR, but he would still do the same thing. Melissa says, I'm with you, Big Rich. You were a baby. 15 is too early to be thrown out into the wolves, and take care of yourself, and, don't die. Don't starve to death. Don't, pay your bills, become a good citizen, don't do anything illegal, because when you're in the streets, all you're around is illegal activity. You're living under a bridge and there's nobody out there during the daytime unless you want to start panhandling. Maybe some people will give you some money, but it was nighttime that people were like, hey, there's this over here. We can go do this. And it's all against the law. And people are telling me about this motorcycle that was parked over here and then we can get that, sell that for like $500. I had to keep saying no, even though I needed the money so bad, So I don't know. Now my dad, the greatest thing in my life was when, I think it was like 10 years ago, he came up here. And Dalton is his grandson now, my brother's son. And he had a Yamaha Blaster 200. And he tried, fixing it, this and that. And he brought it up here. He says he can't get it started. I look at it and I'm like, I can see daylight between your head and the jug. He tightened down 2 bolts and then didn't tighten the rest of the bolts up tight enough. And there's nothing but air there. It'll never start. So me and Josh, we took it all apart. We found out the right torque specs. We put it down in a star pattern around the head and tightened each one, and boom, boom, boom. It went down flat. It started like the 3rd kick and it ran great. And then me and Josh proceeded to put the tools away. And my father was like, oh my God. I'm like, what? He goes, you and your son worked so well together. And then you put the tools away when you were done. I'm like, Dad, you never worked with me. You always bitched. And then you locked the garage trying to keep us from getting to your chintzy little tools. We had to learn to break into your garage because, we got this or this go-kart or that, and we need to fix it. And you made it off limits. And you taught us to sneak behind your back. My kids were grown up. Here's the tools. It's ours to use. That's what we have them for. We can fix anything. Just put them back because I let them mess up everything. And now, where's the 10mm socket? I don't know. Well, where's the, crescent wrench? I don't know. Well, it's in a pile on the workbench. So I taught them, put everything back after the job because the job ain't finished until you put all the tools back. And now they knew exactly where the 10mm socket was. It was in the 3 drawers we have, 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch sockets. The middle one was 3/8, and that's where the 10mm is if you need it. You know what I'm saying? The crescent wrenches are hanging on the wall. The wrenches are in this drawer here. And that's the way they grew up. And you know what? They keep their same toolbox at their house the same way I do mine here. That's all my dad had to do, And, he kept trying to, I don't know. It was just bad. But anyways, he said, you've raised your kids better than I have, and you've accomplished more in life than I have. And I was like, ah, Dad, I kind of forgive you. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Deacon says, you proved you didn't need it because you made it without all that stuff, Rich. Yes, sir. Once, I didn't have a family growing up. It was my dad pawning me off onto my mother. My mother, she wants her life. She's pawning me back off of my dad. I'm living at some babysitter's house. So when I got older and my dad threw me out, I had to stick up for myself and be by myself. And then I started getting things I needed that I wanted in my life. And you know what? I have built my life on my own. There's nobody ever bought me a car. Nobody ever bought me a house or gave me a cosign for a house. No, I did it all on my own. And I wanted a family so bad that when I met Tracy and then we got pregnant, she wanted to be married. We got married. This is my family. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm on earth for. And, after we had our second kid and then, she cheated on me and I divorced her, it was the biggest. I mean, I almost died during that situation. I thought I had my one and only somebody special. You know, I have my person. I have this, and the fact that she touched somebody else for the mere fact of why would you touch him? He's not taking care of your kids. He's not, you know, buying you a house. He's not. You're just going to do that. You know, that killed me. So, you know, 6 months later, when she ended up homeless, I told her, you know, I'll take care of you. I'll let you move back in here, but you're going to be a good mother to my children. Because she walked away from me and the kids. I got the kids in the house and everything. And, you know, I told her, you're going to have to learn to police yourself. Nobody can force you to be a good person. You have to police yourself. What you will and won't do. You have to know this inside. You know, yes, you're going to be opportunities. There's going to be guys out there that offer you the world. You have to decide whether you're willing to risk all of this for that. You know, 20 minutes of fun in the sack for your whole life, your kids, everything. I never understood it. I couldn't understand it. So I definitely made life hard on Tracy for like, it was like 10 years, you know, and she did everything I told her to do, and she stayed, and she became a good mother to my kids. And then she became a good person to me. And all she wanted to was be remarried to me after, like, you know, I'm saying the last 5 years of the 25 years she lived with me, all she wanted was be remarried to me. And she's got letters upon letters in there of stacked up stuff that I guess her therapist made her write but not give me. And then once she died, I was cleaning out her dresser and I found this stuff and I started reading it, and I was bawling for hours. That girl, she wanted forgiven and she wanted to be remarried. And I never, you know, she'd bring it up to me. I'm like, yeah, right. Fool me once, motherfucker. You know, and that'll never happen again. And I treated her shitty for years, and she put up with it. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, once she died, you have nothing to make up for her. She was so good to this family for the last 20 years or so, 25 years, that if she'd wake up right now, I would remarry her because that's all she wanted. And she was a good mother to my kids then, you know. She was amazing. She turned out to be amazing. I started that with, I don't know how to be a mother. Watch Little House on the Prairie. Watch Laura Ingalls. You know, watch people. Watch other situations. See how they treat their kids. And if you like it, take that trait on. You know, I taught her all this, and then how to be, you know, governing your own actions, because nobody can force you to be good or bad. You choose. You know, if you think, oh well, I won't get caught, you're still being a piece of shit because you're sneaking behind this person's back. Do you want to be a piece of shit? Do you want to be a good person? Then don't do this stuff. You may benefit, but you know what? It's better is the benefit of the family. If this benefits the family, I'm willing to do that.
Marion's a good person.
What does that mean? Oh, yeah. Marion, everybody. I'm like, yeah. Do you know her when she's not here? I mean, what's going on?
Like me sitting on the edge of the fish tank, right?
Yeah, that took me a few. Somebody said you shouldn't let Jerry sit on the fish tank, and it was like at 4:40. And I watched this video like 3 times. I'm like, I don't see Jerry. Maybe he's in the reflection. So I'm watching the video, looking in the reflections, and I don't see Jerry leaning on the fish tank or sitting on it. And then it dawned on me. I'm watching. There is the picture of the little skeleton sitting on top of the electric eel tank. I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about. Little Jerry.
It took him a minute.
It took me a minute. Raheem says somebody must have complained to you about the cops. Oh, I'm sure. Dude, you don't understand. At that point, I had already gotten with Benita, which was a stripper, and had a kid. My first kid. I was all into being a father. And I tried getting away from the drugs and just being a father. And then, you know, she left me and took my son. I didn't see him for 7 years. I became all out drug dealer. I just, you know, from Carlos, 8 ounces a day, and I'd sell it all in small portions. There were lines out my back door from my kitchen through the living room, through the door, and then into the alleyway, into the, you know, between 81st and 85th Street, Lawn Avenue. And there was people backed up. I mean, of course they knew. Hell yeah, I didn't even care. I just didn't give a shit at nothing. And it got so big and so bad, it was crazy. But it's, cops aren't dumb. They know what's going on. OG Foster says back in my day that was common. Well, you must be my age because that was pretty common back in my day. Tim Tyrone says you being kicked out at 15 years old made you a good parent. I believe that 100%. I've never given up on my kids. I've given them everything they could to get ahead. I've taught them how to fix this, fix that, do this, cook this. They don't need a woman. They have a woman to help them get through life. My kids don't need anything. I think they're very well raised. They're very well, they're doing great in life. And I'm just a very proud father. Dreamlin Allergic says records are meaningless when you learn from your mistakes. Holding things against someone is just ignorance. Look at you now doing amazing things. I try to help everybody out, and I try not to be jaded from the people that take advantage. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand, if I'm driving and the car's registered in my name, if I get pulled over, they're like, he's got all these assault charges from, I was a bouncer for 20 years. And then he's got drug charges. Does he have a gun in there? So every time I get pulled over for a traffic stop, I get pulled out by gun. They search the car. They search everything. And I've learned if you just say, no, you can't search, I don't give consent, they call in a dog. I have to wait there an hour. I don't have no drugs in the car. So I let them search, and it's that way every single time. This is why I told my kids, don't mess with drugs. Your life will be messed up. And that's how it is here. So I try never to drive. I try to sit in the passenger seat. My cars are either in Tracy's name or in the rescue's name, so that that don't get brought up. You know what I'm saying? But it is held against you for sure. And it's been 28 years since then. 98, 2008, 2018. No, 2028 years, or in 2028 it will be 40 years. So it was 38 years ago. And I'm still being held accountable for it. Someone says the saltwater tank behind the monster pond is still going. Yes, but it's more of a holding tank for when we get saltwater fish in until we can find it a home. It's not my dream saltwater tank for sure. Sugar Bear says, won't let you expunge your record after all that time. No, to expunge your record, you have to have zero. I mean, like the first thing I got in my record, I could have expunged it then by having nothing, no priors. But now that I've got all these assault charges and all this other stuff, they won't expunge it now. It's just crazy. So I have to pay for my young self's sins by being forced into that situation by my old self, which I do so much good. I help so many people out. We give away so many tanks. We do so much. That's how I got community service. We donated a tank to a high stress job. The district attorney downtown, we went there and we donated a tank. And then he set us up with, community service. I mean, good begets good. And I like being good. I love being good. I love being in the right. I love being, you should do things my way type thing. I love that. So yeah, I can't get rid of the past. There's nothing we can do about it. Tyler Kerr says, because you're a good man, Rich, that's a great thing you did. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but thank you. I appreciate it. Nick Hybe says, what do you think they did with your belongings? They robbed you and probably kept a couple of your guitars, criminals themselves.
Wow. I'm sorry.
They had a public auction, the sheriffs of the county, and sold everything. I mean, if they took something, I don't know, but from what I was told, they sold everything at the public auction, and I had nothing. I wasn't even allowed back in my house when I got home. The house was sold. So now it belongs to somebody else. They took it from me, and that's why I had to live in a pickup truck. So, yeah, the cops are definitely criminals themselves.
Oh, I'm just surprised how far back you are.
On far back. All right, let me skip some of these. Which son is the eldest? My oldest boy, Richard, which was from Benita the stripper. He's, I think, 36 now. Dreamland says this perfectly. Exactly. You govern yourself by who you want to be, not what others want. Exactly. I mean, people look at me and don't even know that I'm ordained to, marry people. They just see the long hair, and think I'm a drug dealer yet still. Jerry, what is your favorite fish?
A whole bunch of people are asking that right now.
Yeah.
And it's one of my least favorite questions. I really can't put my finger on one fish out, no, especially not all of them out there. It's the system itself, the life.
That's your favorite? The whole living system?
Yeah, the living system.
But there ain't one fish that you would be like more upset to die than another?
Oh, no, never.
Okay.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, one's just as important as the other. Other than the one's a little bit more of a pain in the ass to take care of than another, but it's just, I set up the system that works for me. I'm not really picky about what goes in it, as long as it all blends together and works.
Yeah.
You just gotta do there's 4 things this hobby requires. There's money.
You have to own a Jerry.
Yeah, you have to have a Jerry. For real, I had a Jerry.
You had a Jerry?
Blackie, the guy, my godfather that gave me this vest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had me cleaning tanks and scrubbing and taking care of live food cultures and everything when I was 8 years old.
Nice, nice.
I mean, he was my Jerry. Yeah, I would have loved to have it. I'd love to have a couple of people around like that, but I don't at the moment. Anyway, you got to have money. You got to have stability. Those 2 things are
That's given right there.
definitely requirements. The others are research and observation, and that's all on you. Man,
Yeah.
not just know what your fish is expected to do, but know what your fish does.
Right. Okay.
And how it reacts to the rest of the tank around it, what it takes to make it as comfortable as you want it to be.
Okay, so moving on. Tim Tyrone says, what happened to that big fish tank you had that went to Josh's house because you couldn't get it your dry because of snow? It's still at Josh's house. We have a plan for it. You know where the electric eel is? That's a 240-gallon tank. We're removing that and we're putting this 600-gallon tank there because it's the same width. It's just a lot taller. So we don't know what we're putting in it yet, and we don't know where we're putting the electric eel. But the 240 will be up for sale because we have no place else to put it. But that's going to happen. That's coming up. Train Club says, I go to public auctions, great deals on stuff to flip on eBay. Dude, I sold on eBay for years. I've got a thing for over 10,000 sales, a plaque, and I made big money on eBay long before there was a use tax involved, and I didn't even have to claim it, on the internet. And now there's a use tax. You have to claim it or you're doing tax evasion, But yeah, back in the day, I made some good money on eBay selling all this stuff. And I just go to like garage sales. I went to auctions, closed down pet stores. They would list on their page where they're, everything's going to this public auction. And I'd show up at them auctions and I'd buy. That's how I got the dog bone. It was Aquarium Authority. And the owners there I knew, and I offered them when they went bankrupt and went out of business. I asked them, I'm like, I'll give you $1,000 for that dog bone. He's like, I can't sell it. I'm like, okay. And he goes, well, it's going to a public auction because the bank owns it now. I'm like, okay, so I found out where the public auction was. I went to the public auction and I bought like, I swear to God, 40 of those. They're like 3 foot wide, separated in the middle, 2 tanks. They were like 70 gallons each, 3 tiers tall. They had doors closed on top of them. I bought like 40 of those. And then I bought the dog bone tank. And I was willing to go up to $1,000. I got that tank for $400 from this auction. So yeah, my new favorite thing was auctions. That's what I went. I went to all the auctions. That's what me and the boys would do, is go to auctions, you know. It's just different now that the boys are gone and grown up and I don't have somebody to hang with like that. If Tracy was still around, I'd still be doing that kind of stuff. But I can't get out because I got to take care of Tracy. I just can't wait for her to come back, you know.
I get reading ahead.
G. Juarez says, Big Rich, what happened to the big Dorado? Josh had to rehome him because he started taking bites out of other fish. And we didn't know whether we could throw him into the pool pond because he was still too small to go in the pool pond. He might get eaten by these big catfish.
Oh, he would have.
He would have.
At night, yeah.
So with him, we couldn't keep nothing in him, and we can't keep him in a 1,000-gallon tank with no other fish. Josh rehomed him and found somebody that wanted him. Xanthi says, you ever get someone visit from Britain? We've had a lot of people visit here from like Australia, England, but never Britain. I just sent a message out to Josh and Jace, which are 2 Brits that come to America and then they do their YouTube channel. I told them, they're in Michigan right now. Told them, you need to come over to Ohio Fish Rescue. We'll set you up for the weekend. We'll feed you. We'll take care of you. Blah, blah, blah. You need to come here. And they actually answered back, but I didn't get an answer whether they're coming here or not. So I don't know. Bob Pierce says, yo, I heard your story before, and now I understand why you help everybody out. You're a really good guy. Oh, thank you, Bob. Tim Tyrone says, I'm in England. I would love to visit.
We had somebody from England try to visit, and they stopped in right in the middle of and
oh, yeah. They stopped here while they were in town, and then we were in a live stream or something.
Yeah, we were doing the live stream.
And since we didn't answer the door, they left. They never got to see the place. I felt so bad.
We missed them at the door.
You know, and people call on my phone. I'm just like, okay, stop calling, guys. I can't answer the phone. And it was a number, not a name. So I'm like, guys, please stop calling. And I kept on saying no to the phone. And it was them at the door. If I'd have just answered the phone, I would have, you know, got them in here.
Oh, we just had a guy from the Netherlands come visit. He was visiting some friends here in the area, and he came through. Oh, man, did he fall in love with this place.
He was just here a couple days ago.
Yeah, that was a good tour.
Good tour.
I told him.
In other words, you had fun.
Well, I told him there's a couple of people on our live stream that are from the Netherlands and stuff. Get on there. He's still visiting friends. I doubt if he'd be around on this live stream.
He said he was going to be.
Huh?
I haven't seen him yet.
Well, unless it was him that said hi a while back, because I don't recognize half your names.
Right.
You know?
I'll tell you what,
I mean,
all you guys. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. You know, I don't know who you are.
All you guys that want to come in from another country, you ain't got to pay for a hotel. I can put you up in Josh's old room, and it has its own beautiful bathroom. So you got a big queen-size bed, mirrors, and all the whole dragon room, and then you got your own bathroom. It's like going to an Airbnb. I will put you up for the weekend for sure.
Yeah, try to plan ahead. Nobody's showing up during the live stream. They'll show up like I did.
Yeah, you showed up during the live stream. I'm like, there's somebody at the door, guys. I got to go answer this. And then I open the door, and he's like, I'm here. I'm like, who the fuck are you? You know? He's like, I talked to you a few months ago about moving in here. And I'm like, I don't remember. I'm in the middle of the live stream. I don't know what to tell you. Come in, sit down. I got to go finish the live stream. And then he's never left since. Tim Tyrone says, do you ship fish abroad? Absolutely not. Our fish are too big. We don't ship them close by. You have to come here and pick up if you want fish from us. So, I don't know.
Oh, people, right? He said, "How about people from Wales? It doesn't make any difference where you're from.
I'll give you the room for the
It
weekend,
doesn't even make any difference if you speak
but
English."
we haven't had people from Wales yet. We
I
had
don't-
people from Australia.
I don't know.
Xanthi says, I need to save up and come visit. Long trip from England, but it would be a dream of mine. I'd help out with anything you want needed. And he's 25 years old. Well, I'll tell you what, while you're here, we can tell you a bunch of other things you can do while you're here. Like, I would definitely, you got to visit Be a Sweetie Candy Company. You've never seen nothing like this. It's a grocery store full of candy that you haven't seen for 50 years, you know? And then you have to go like downtown and see the buildings and go to like the art museum or stuff like that. You have to go to a few pet stores I have around here. RMS is one. Um,
He
you know,
just likes to
something
go
fishy is
downtown
another.
because of the street vendors.
Oh, I love their
He wants
hot
his
dogs.
sausages. Yeah.
Their Italian sausage with peppers and onions. Oh my God, it's to die for. They're so awesome.
I got to start talking food. Got to rub it in. He's on his diet. He's working on it.
Depth Charge says, our first time there, we showed up for the live stream. Yeah, you guys been out here a couple times with the live stream. We always had a good time when you're here. And then Loren says, what's the difference between England and Britain? Don't know.
I don't know. Ask them.
Yeah, ask them for sure. What about if I come from Ireland, from Staines Law Dolinsky? You're more than welcome to stay here for sure.
It's
OG Foster says, what about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Of course, that's another thing you need to see here. Then there's the Cleveland Public Aquarium. There's a bunch of things you need to see here.
the American Football Hall of Fame is here too.
Tyler says, grocery store full of candy. I would never want to leave. I walked in there and there was these things called, they were just ice, okay? And they were in a gold wrapper. And now I found in there, they have gold and silver wrappers. The silver don't taste as good. But the ice, it was a square. You'd unwrap it, you put it in your mouth, and it dissolved instantly. It wasn't a hard chocolate. It just dissolved, and it was the most succulent chocolate you ever had.
Yeah, they're called ice cubes.
You're right. Okay. So if you temper chocolate just right, like, people say put your chocolate in the microwave 30 seconds at a time, and then you roll it out and it's like liquidy. No, that turns hard, real hard. If you go in there and you see it just starting, like the corner of one piece of pellet melting, and you stir it all up and bring it back down in temperature, and then you put it back in for 10 seconds, you pull it out. The moment you have no chunks left, that is tempering chocolate the softest. That stuff it melts in your fingers, it melts in your mouth, and it feels cold. When you put it in your mouth, it feels cold. I can't describe it. It's so good. It's just so good. I found them at this thing. And then there was these things, back when I was a kid, there was these like little dots on paper, and you'd have to peel them off and eat them, and they were hard, crunchy. Found them. And then a candy bar called whatchamacallit. I haven't seen in 20, 30 years. They had a bunch of them. I'm like, oh my God, everything from my childhood is here. I forget what they're called, Rizzles or something, but they look like, bottle caps. They look like a bottle cap, and they taste like root beer. You put them in your mouth, and they fizz. I ain't seen them in like 40 years, and they had them, It's just like, it's a trip down nostalgia lane. And then on the way out, you had a 1950s style ice creamery where you can get floats, malted shakes, all that stuff. And it was just amazing. I love that place. Oh, yes, they have every pet suspension you can get for sure. OBG Fox just said that. Monster Fishing says, love going to Cedar Point, live in Michigan. Let's go, Hal Fish Rescue. We're about an hour from Cedar Point. You could stop by here anytime. Tim Tyrone says, you making me hungry. Big Rich, do you hunt? I have been watching this guy, Wild Pursuit, on YouTube recently. I was raised in a hunting family, hillbilly family, and my dad still, to this day, has his own garden, supplies his own food, goes hunting all the time. No. I was thrown off to my mother and this and that, and the only thing that I felt true love from was animals. And I had my pets, and I took care of them. And, the first time my dad took me hunting, it was a traumatic experience. We leave about 11 o'clock at night. He's got his Carhartts on, his waterproof boots and all that. I've got sneakers and a jacket. We go out driving through the middle of the night. And these are roads with no street lights. We're way back in the country. And then he pulls off the road one spot, and he goes through this field of corn and all that, and he parks by this set of woods. We get out, and he lets his dogs go. I'm like, Dad, the dog's going to run off. You'll never get him back. He goes, shh. And he just shushes me. So we're sitting there. He takes his chewing tobacco and puts it in his mouth, and he's just sitting there spitting. And I go to say something else. He goes, shh. I'm like, the fuck? Are we going to sit here for like an hour, not talk? Finally, after about a half hour, we hear these dogs. They're like a mile away. Arr, arr, arr. They're treeing a coon up in a tree, meaning they chased this coon. He went up in a tree. They're standing at the bottom of the tree with their paws on it, barking. So he starts running. And now I'm a young kid. I'm like, I don't know, 7 to 10, somewhere's in there. He takes off and he's running quick. And he's taking these big steps. And I'm trying to stay close to him because I can't see him. As the closer I get to him, the more these branches are coming back and smacking me in my face. So I try and back off a little bit. Then I can't see him. I just hear him. And I keep going towards that. Next thing you know, we're going through a river, and my feet are up to my knees in ice-cold river water surrounded by snow. And he keeps on going. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm frozen cold here. My feet are cold. I got water in my boots or my shoes. And he keeps on going. I have to chase him to keep up. I'm getting scared as hell as a little kid. Finally, we make it to where the dogs are. And he's got this 22. He takes off his back, and it's got like this flashlight with like 10 D cells, in it, taped onto his 22. And he shines it up in the tree, and I see 2 green eyes. I'm like, oh, Dad, there's something up there. And he looked at me. He's like, the hell? And he put it back, and he shot. Well, he missed the coon and hit the branch it was on. And now the branch and the raccoon come falling down, hitting other branches, this and that. He hits the ground, whap. And he's doing this convulsive thing on the ground. And I'm like, oh, Dad, he's hurt. And I go running up to him. And I want to say, I'll take care of him. Let me take him home and feed him. I'll fix him, And he looks at me. He's like, oh, hell, boy. He puts his foot right on his forehead, puts the 22 against it, and shoots. Bow! I went to crying, commenced to just breaking down. And I'm like the biggest sissy to my dad ever. You know what I'm saying? A little sissy boy, city boy. And he makes me carry a burlap sack and put this dead coon in the burlap sack, and I have to carry it. He went around for the rest of the night and got like, I don't know, 6 more. And I'm carrying all these dead raccoon in this burlap sack, crying my fucking eyes out. I've never seen anything killed before, And he was disappointed in me. He never took me hunting again. We get home, and then the real trauma starts. I set down the bag, and he's like, give me one of them. I'm like, Dad, I'm not touching a dead raccoon. Oh, hell, boy, get out of my way. And he pushed me, and he grabbed the raccoon, and he hung it up by its back legs, and he takes out a pocket knife, Schrade cutlery, and he just starts gutting it, cleaning it. And I'm like, oh, gross, I'm about to throw up. And all these guts come falling out, and then he cuts all the skin off, and he wraps that up in white paper because he sells it to the Furrier for like $30 a pelt. And then he starts, the meat he takes to work and sells at the Chevy plant for $5 a body. And it was the most grossest thing I'd ever seen. I am not a hunting person. I will take and cure that animal. I will do everything I can to fix him, try and not have him die. I definitely let down my hillbilly dad as a man. No, it doesn't matter. I can whoop his ass. It doesn't matter. I can whoop all my brother's ass. None of that matters. You ain't a man because you didn't hunt with me. And oh my God, it was so, as a child, I won't kill anything, what I'm saying, because of that. It's crazy. OBG Foster says, I live near the football Hall of Fame. Oh, shit, it jumped again. Stan is Baldowski. I guess. Big Rich, you are the best man. It would be my dream to come visit you. You're more than welcome anytime. Ross Dingle says first and last hunting trip. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was so traumatized as a kid. It was crazy. You know, if he'd have brought me into it calmly, you know, let me make some of the money off, I may have had a different outlook. But because he just slapped me in my face with all this death, and it was horrible, and that's what made me who I am today, because I will never be like that. I will help any animal, any person out. I will do whatever I can to make things better. Deb Charge says that was a long time ago. Well, I'm 62. When I was 7 to 10, I was 52 to 55 years ago. Jesus Christ, it was a long time ago. Oh, they got a big side talk going on here. Xanthi says, if I were to visit, do I contact you first or just come during the day? You definitely got to contact me first.
Yeah, really.
You know, there's some days where I get a chance away and I spend the whole day doing errands, bank, Home Depot, Walmart, grocery shopping, you know, and I get everything done in one day. You may come during that and I won't be here, you know. Definitely got to contact me and set that up first.
Bedroom might be occupied.
Right.
That happens quite often.
Tim Tyrone says, if you ever run out of space, would you ever extend the house? I have extended it twice now. And me and Josh were talking about another place to extend it. But yes. Train Club says, do you sign autographs? I go to these aquashellas and I sit there for 8 hours a day signing autographs, Saturday and Sunday. I haven't been able to make all 4 of them because it's hard for me to get out. I have to have nurses I can rely on. With all the nurses changing, it's hard because, you know, I get notified half hour before their shift that they're not showing up. And then I'm screwed if I'm, like, say, 6 hours away in Chicago or something, you know. Richard Jones says, I've had a shit week, but your videos have made me laugh all week. Oh, thank you. That's good. Jerry looks like he's tripping. You on shrooms, boy?
No.
TV Tyrone says, I love your pond on BK. I don't know what BK is, but, you know, the fact that you love the pond, thank you.
I'm back. DK back.
Dreamland Allergic says, I love eating fish, but not a fan of killing them. That's why I only eat like McDonald's fish fillets or Mrs. Gordon's. If it looks like a fish, I can't eat it. You know what I'm saying? These square fillets, that's not a real animal. I can eat that, you know. I'm almost done with my 3rd drink.
I'm about 10 minutes of the show now.
All right, guys. Any other questions? Come on. Let's get them in. Let me see. I talked about Skylar. Said she's coming to do a live stream
Go
soon.
back and see what you jumped over.
I didn't jump over nothing. I talked about the nurses. I talked about Tracy. Now we can talk about cars, food, music, whatever you want.
Oh, you were behind a little bit earlier. You said, well, we'll skip over some of this. And then
yeah, I skipped over a very small amount.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying we did. Just suggestion.
Depth charge. You've seen me. He goes, 3rd drink, lightweight. You've seen me on more than 3 drinks. I start discussing things I shouldn't be talking about. I let out everybody's secrets. Stop it. Harley Gem says, no, time flew. Marion, here's to you. Xanthi says, contact you on Facebook? Yes. On Facebook, you can either go to Ohio Fish Rescue or Big Rich Price. Either one, I'll get it. which fish at the rescue is most tasty dune pie? From what I hear, it would be the arapaima. There's 7 different cuts of the arapaima, and some of them are supposed to be like delicacies. Next after that, I would say is the pacu. People have come here trying to get pacu so they can cook them. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't tasted either one of them. But you guys might have. They sell them as, what was the name of that fish?
I'm not sure.
Atlantic
I've been told.
sea bass is arapaima meat. There's a place in New York that raises arapaima to sell to restaurants as Atlantic sea bass. And they make a fortune. Sue Ann says, miss you, Richie Jerry. Oh, we miss you too. Train Club says, when was Jerry born? Back in the 1800s. He knew Jesse James himself. Oh, sorry, Jerry. Oh. Sue Ann says sea bass is bare money. No, it's called something. Atlantic sea bass or North American sea bass. It's something sea bass. And I showed Jerry because he argued with me too. And I showed him the whole article about something called sea bass is arapaima. And it comes from that North New York, area where they sell it for as sea bass. The Pierce says, I'll be in Ohio at the end of February. How do I make an appointment to come see you in the fish room? Contact me on Facebook under Big Rich Price or Ohio Fish Rescue, and we'll make plans. Jimmy Tyrone says, I love the tank with the paddlefish and the sturgeon. What do you plan to do with them? The paddlefish are going out to the back pond. The sturgeon will probably end up in the pool. Dreamlin Allergic says, silverfish is carp, and a lot of people love to eat them, but claim carp are not edible. Carp's supposed to be really, fishy tasty, but
Greasy too.
Greasy. If it works for you, it works for you. Manny Davis says, you're not drinking pina coladas tonight, Rich, like you did last Friday. I actually have some, but I'm on my diet right now. I haven't eaten in 4 days, and I actually reached 273.3 today. I am down 67 pounds. I'm very happy. Because we had Thanksgiving, we had Christmas, we had New Year's, where we did nothing but eat, and it kept screwing my diet. Now I'm back losing weight again, so I'm happy. To me, Tyrone says, what's your favorite tropical fish? Probably be a tropical fish, would probably be a clown knife. Or stonefish. Love them too. Yeah, I'm now fitting into like weeks of my other clothes, but if I pull this tight, because this is all baggy, if I pull this tight, you see I'm a lot skinnier now, and even sideways. I'm not even, I can pull it in. There's full, but there's normal. Okay. So I have lost a lot. I noticed that my skin's getting a little saggy, so I have to do a lot of like cardio now to get my skin tighter. This is awesome with the weight loss, Big Rich. Thank you. Bob Taylor says sea bass with lasers. Okay. Timmy Tyrone says I like tiger barbs. They're cool, but man, they're mean fish.
I don't taste very good either.
You ate tiger barbs before? You some bitch.
Why they're talking about fish they eat, then they're talking. I just being smart.
Manny Davis says, well done, Rich. You look amazing losing all that weight. James, thank you. James McNally says, how to remove a wart off of a goldfish body? Ooh, I don't know. I've never seen a wart on a goldfish body. Tim Tyrone says, well done on weight loss. Any tips for me? I'm 53. You know, it's getting to the point for me that watching Tracy all this time, I don't want to be alone and big. Tracy may never come back. I may have to start hitting the dating scene. You know what I'm saying? So I did not want to be big and alone. So I had in my mind, you know, so I just don't eat. But what worked for me, which might not work for you, is for one, I combined 2 diets together. One was the, what was that? Intermittent fasting diet, which you eat like 6 hours a day, then you don't eat the rest of the time. So I did the intermittent on top of doing the keto. So while doing the keto diet, I only eat within them 6 hours a day. And, you know, just yesterday, I lost 2 pounds since yesterday. I was very happy to be at 75 yesterday, and today I'm at 73. It's crazy. So I'm only eating 6 hours a day in that window. And in that window, I'm only eating very small amounts. Like I'll eat, oh shit, I almost spilled it. 2 pepperonis, and then I'll drink my cup of water afterwards. I have that taste in my mouth, and I feel full. I'll eat 1 piece of bologna, drink a cup of water. I have that taste in my mouth, and I feel full. And then for like my third feeding, I might go back to 2 pepperonis or 1 egg, and then eat that, and then drink water. I feel full, and I have taste in my mouth. And then I don't eat nothing the rest of the time. And it's just falling off me. Oh, let me shut this off. Okay. That's my Tracy thing. She's watching TV in there, so I have a nurse. I don't have to watch it. Depth Charge says, we'll have to call you Smaller Rich. Only when I get smaller than you, Depth Charge. How much do you weigh? I'm going to guess probably about 180, 170, somewhere in there. Dreamland Allergic says, I like that Vegas fish you had. He was so beautiful. He was, wasn't he? He was so amazing. Jerry, what did you DoorDash tonight? I don't think you've DoorDashed at all. He's learning because he got to learning that, you know, they're there to take your money, and then he wants something and he orders it and he's paying all this extra. Then he's upset and pissed off afterwards. You know.
If it's what I want and I've got the extra, I don't give a shit.
Monster Fishing says, Big Rich, what kind of freshwater shark would you own if you had one right now? I have Peru sharks right now. I have iridescent sharks, which aren't true sharks, but the Peru shark is as close as you can get without getting an actual shark. And the only actual shark that can live in freshwater is a, oh geez, I just lost it.
Bull shark.
Bull shark, thank you. A bull shark, they can live in fresh water. So I always wanted a baby bull shark and keep it to like 2 foot. And, you know, after that, he'd have to go to one of the public aquariums. And Zach Ketchumall actually caught one down in Florida for like maybe 11 inches. And he was like, come down and get it. You can have it. And I'm like, I can't make that trip for that one fish. Sorry. But that would have been amazing for like, you know, its first year. Potatoes. How much would a tiger barb fillet cost per pound? I don't know, because each tiger barb is like 64th of a pound. You'd have to have like 64 of them to make a pound, maybe. And then it's a whole lot of work trying to fillet them.
I think my fingernail weighs more. Dogfish. Dominic
says, Rich, my son just walked out into the lounge room and saw me watching you guys. And he said, hey, the fish wizards. Here's to your son. Thank you.
Scott White says, if Jerry was a fish, what kind would he be? It's already been decided, man. I'm a dogfish.
Tim Tyrone says, internal filter or sponge filter? Everyone knows I believe in sponge filters or matten filters, which are a sponge filter. But look up matten filters. They're better than a sponge filter, work better, look better, you know. But sponge filters are where it's at.
Oh, what you need it to do.
When's a Pacu from James McNally? When's a Pacu tanks being installed? Soon. That's all I can say. Soon.
Depth charge knows me. He said that would be a dogfish. It's the ultimate.
Monster Fish, he says you should get a vampire fish. If you're talking about armadas, that's also known as a vampire fish. We have a few and love them fish.
The dogfish can also live in fresh water.
Yeah. Ross Dingo says bull shark would decimate the pool. Not until he's about a year or two old. He's going to be small, and wouldn't do that, and we'd keep him full. So we could keep a young one for a while. Sue-Ann says Marion, and it's N, and Mary N, not Mary M.
Whatever.
Well, I was just letting them know.
All right. Okay, we got a super chat. I can't remember her name, so he just says nurse, nurse, nurse.
That's the same thing as
Taylor,
Marion.
thanks for the 5.
Thank you for the $5, Bob. Appreciate it. And Marion, everybody. I think I'm done. Yeah. Oh, it's already past 8. I'm willing to go for another drink.
Yeah, I gotta go make sure things are copacetic.
NB 31274 says, "Do you have any videos from when you were in 3rd degree?" This will date me a little bit, but yes, I have like 20 VHS tapes of me being in the band, playing at bars, and this, that, and playing at the Akron Agora and all that stuff. I need to get them and transfer them to like DVD or even digital. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to make another drink. Can you sit here for a few minutes? Thank you. Jerry's easy to get along with.
Do you have any rainbow sharks? No, we got his second cousin. That black shark.
Oh, that's a mean son of a bitch.
One of the nastiest fish in the hobby.
You know how big they get, Jerry?
No, not exactly. I know they get a lot bigger than those rainbow fish sharks. But the rainbow sharks can get pretty mean too if you let them. As long as they're well fed and they've got their little territory, they can get really nasty sometimes. So I mean about not only knowing what to expect from the type of fish you have, but know your fish specifically, what you can get away with it. I don't. Somebody asked if I could beat the Ripper with arm wrestling. I don't know, and I really don't even want to find out. What did I do for a living before retirement? Whatever it took to get by. I've pretty much done what I wanted to when I wanted to my whole life. It included working for other people. A couple of times I thought I was going to be field service for this compressor company for the rest of my days. But, life goes on. I lose interest real quick sometimes. The fish hobby is the only thing that everything I've ever learned applies to it. I can hold my own in a conversation on theoretical physics. I study paleontology, archaeology. My brain will not shut off. So I keep it busy.
Hey, Jerry,
I keep it slow.
You know what happened today?
No, anything's possible around here. What?
The nurses were out there, or the nurse, and we were talking about, me losing weight and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting back sexy again. I start dancing like this next to Tracy. And the nurse was like, oh my God, my eyes.
Good for her. That's severe. I didn't want to even see that in my brain, man.
You can't
I'm
eliminate
not
that.
going to watch you while you hula over there. Man, want summer so bad. My favorite dinosaur is not a well, technically, I guess, but the terror birds. I love the terror birds. And there's just something about the big birds, the brown birds.
Wow, you guys been talking a lot since I've been gone.
I know much. I just so he was.
Okay, there's where I left off. Do you have videos from when you're in third grade?
Yeah.
A great night, everyone, from Summer Lee. Let's go, Big Rich and Jerry. Lots of fishing. Summer Lee says, have a great night, Rich and Jerry. We ain't left yet. Train Club says, glad that Jerry and you contribute so much advice for the fish industry. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank
I mean,
you.
any way we can help anybody, we're here to help. If you can help from our mistakes, that's just her finger thing. She's got the clamp on one. The nurse it was beeping. So Mandy Davis says, how are you going to get the electric eel out of the tank without getting electrical shock? Wear rubber boots, be out there, and then don't touch him. If you touch him, you'll get a jolt. But if you're holding the net, you won't get a jolt.
Rubber gloves are a lot more important than your rubber boots. The electric eel has both electricals. It has negative and positive. It will ground you whether you're wearing rubber boots.
If you touch him.
If you touch it.
Right.
That's why the rubber gloves.
But the current flows through the water. If you're barefoot let's say on wet cement, it'll fall right through you and ground out. So wearing rubber boots, you're basically got no reason to get shocked unless you actually touch him. And Josh goes through with his rubber handled net, goes over him, the koi sock net.
Oh yeah, I know how I
pull up on this side, holding the rubber handled net, and then he has the material in this hand, and he can pick up the electric shark or electric eel without getting shocked if he's wearing boots.
When we first got him, we were putting him in that 135 down below.
Yeah.
And I'm down there holding up that solid plastic lid, down there crammed in the corner behind the tote like this,
trying to be out of the way.
Yeah. He just touched me with the end of his tail, and he was in full defense mode.
Oh no!
I was like getting kicked in the face.
It was like getting electric shocked in your face.
I didn't even feel like a shock. It was more like a foot imprint.
Really?
Really, it was like getting hit.
Wow! I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
When I climbed up over the top of on the sump to clear the plug in the sock table. I didn't realize that I had my fingers, just, how these two fingers stick down further. They were hanging over the edge in the tank, and he just came up and introduced himself. It was just a kiss. I mean, you could feel it, but I mean, 110 would have been more.
Okay.
But yet I'm standing up on the edge of the sump, the steel sump, with my normal shoes on. My feet aren't wet or anything, but it was just like, hi, how you doing? Who are you? He feels my electrical field in the water, and he wants to respond.
NBE says he's got a good question. Jerry, can you beat Reaper in an arm wrestling?
I already answered that.
Did you?
Yes.
What'd you say?
I said I have no idea and don't want to find out.
Good answer. Good answer. You guys trying to put all my workers against each other. Come on now.
Now, Reaper and I having a smoke out, I'd be willing to do that.
Oh, you'd beat him on that, wouldn't you?
I don't know.
He's pretty.
I know he's good.
I've seen Reaper say, "Nah, I'm good." I've never seen you say that.
You're not around me when I'm smoking like that.
This is true.
I've told Reaper, no, I'm good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, he's heard me say it. Sometimes you just got to let your lungs catch up with you. Electric catfish, no, they're boring. I mean, excuse me, boring.
Lorenz says, Raum, J, Passo, Last, Enswig, Alls, Ik, Na, Meg.
I don't
bragging?
speak. I don't speak Dutch,
Oh
brother.
no, I do. I can just read it. We're good.
Okay, thank you. What's it say?
How badly did I tear that up, guys?
Oh, you tore it up bad. I know that.
Deb Shark says, I'm up for a
Yeah, he's
smoke out.
talking to Doopy again.
Is he?
They both speak Dutch. I know there's more than one.
Could
I'm gonna have to
Jerry
get my
outsmoke
friend
Willie
from-
Nelson? I doubt it.
My friend from a couple of days ago. I think his name was Tim.
You have a friend?
Oh, my.
This
Yeah.
guy. I touch him on his arm. He's ready to swing on me.
It's so old. There's no way I could outsmoke Willie Nelson, but God, I would love to try. And not just the smoking, man.
Oh, Loren says, I got an 8 for pronouncing. Well, thank you. I was real close then.
I'd like to know just what Willie Nelson has forgotten about playing guitar.
Or getting high. Oh, yeah. Deb Charge says Snoop couldn't outsmoke Willie. Snoop Dogg? He said on there that he got outsmoked by Willie. Never anybody else, but Willie Nelson outsmoked him.
Yeah, well, I do too. Smoking out's just something you used to do between friends.
Yeah.
My lungs can't handle that anymore, man. It's just, I can't take them big hellacious ear ringing tokes anymore.
Now, here's something I would like to do. Willie versus Snoop Dogg versus Jerry versus me saying Harley Jump. I would love to have the 4 of you here. We'll have a smoke off on video.
They get their shit together and our banking laws and everything, we can have an international smoke out.
MB says, when will the dog bone tank be filled and working? Probably tomorrow.
Maybe.
It's cured. It's done. It was waiting for me to put on the waterfall, and now I didn't get that done for the video, which came out today. But now me and Josh Josh wanted a whole big, rock wall and waterfall, and I don't want that, wasted space. So I still got my cichlid wall and apartments back under there, and we agreed on a rock waterfall on this table up to that hole. So that's what we're building now. But the tank can be full now. It's ready. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to be videoing it for Monday's video of us filling it and showing that there's no leaks. Because after Josh filled it and he went ahead and drained it, I'm like, you didn't get that on video? And he's like, no. So now I got to fill it over the weekend to show it on Mondays as that there's no leaks and it's all good and ready to go. So. Loren says, Big Rich, get the 4 of them, meaning Willie Nelson,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, you, and OG Foster, and get them to the Netherlands, and I swear a 5-year-old would beat them.
Yeah.
What are you people doing to our young children in the Netherlands? What the hell?
It's just nationally legal in the Netherlands, is all it is. You can actually go to a bar and enjoy a comedy club or something like that. And, around here, it's legal to do it in your own freaking bedroom. That's it. Oh, James McNally, thank you.
Thank you very
I don't
much.
know, is he calling us a noob or what?
Maybe he's a noob. I don't know.
5 pounds?
I don't take offense
Thank you much.
at all until someone proves it was meant towards me. That way you divert a lot of stuff.
Well, one of the best pieces of advice I ever had in my life is don't take anything personal, especially the good stuff.
Okay. Timmy Tyrone says, who is that who comes up in your background feeding fish? That's me. You'll see me come up there and stand in the middle and feed the fish every 15 minutes or so, 10 minutes or whatever it is. I got it on loop. MBE says, do you have any extra monster tanks for sale? We've got a bunch of like 150s, 125s, 100s, 90s, 110s, 75s. I mean, they're so packed up out there right now. It's crazy.
The trouble is we can't deliver and we can't can't ship.
Tyrone says, bloody hell, you can tell the weight loss difference. Nice. Loren says, Jerry, in the Netherlands, you go to a coffee shop and buy what you want to smoke
Yeah.
and have 5 plants and do it yourself, or have 5 plants and do it yourself. Manny Davis says, Rich, what time did you go to bed last Friday? Did you have? I think we left off at 11 or midnight here, and I went straight to bed. But I had to be up by 7 o'clock to watch Tracy. So I watched Tracy for that hour. Then the nurse showed up at 8 o'clock. Then I went back to bed. Did I have a hangover? I don't remember because I was sleeping.
Suzanne says sometimes the good stuff is the personal stuff. Yeah, but it's the good stuff that gets you. You're big headed. You don't take it personal. Just say thank you.
James
You know?
McNally says, I'm just glad that I've donated money to your good cause. You know, and that's the thing. We had like DIY Joey accusing us of misappropriating funds. We never do.
Shit.
You know, we got so much going on here that our bills are way higher than what we bring in from the YouTube channel. So any money we get in helps us cover that and helps us cover the food, period. So if you've donated money, you have helped feed the fish for sure. Thank you, James. Train Club says, Fish, how often are you doing water change? I don't know if that's to somebody else or to us. We never do a water change other than on the quarantine tanks. Thank you, Jerry. That's how we all get by with a little help from our friends.
I'm the one who usually does
Well, no, you do the water changes
on the quarantine.
eventually, but you usually flood the floor. I'm sorry. Sorry, I had to say
If
it.
I'm the one who usually does it, odds are
Right.
when it floods, it's me. Today it wasn't me. I felt real good about that, and then it was me. Damn it.
See now, Fish says, I do once a week 50%. So it was to somebody else from Train Club.
Okay.
But here's the thing. You can't go by once a week or once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks or what your neighbor does. Every fish tank is different. You have to have a test stick or the actual kit that tells you how much your ammonia is, how much your nitrites are, and how much your nitrates are. Once you learn that, what you do is you keep going until your nitrates build up to 40 parts per million. Then you want to do a 50% water change and bring it back down to 20. Okay. And that is your schedule. You have different fish, you have different plants, you have different filtration, you have different bacteria than your neighbor has. It'll always be different. It can never, I forever hear this. Oh, my neighbor, changes, 25% once a week. That may work for him. It may not work for you. What if you have big monster catfish in there and he has a bunch of little, cichlids or something, It's always different. You have to test your water, feed them normally, and then see when the water builds back up. As long as you're on 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, then your fish tank is cycled for the amount of fish you have in there. Once you get to that point, then you just wait for your nitrates. And when it builds up, you have to cut that down. Nitrates up at 80 parts per million is bad for some fish, but other fish can live through it. So at 40 parts is where I want to do the water change. We have all of Ohio Fish Rescue on, I think we bring in 2,000 gallons a day. It stays at 18 to 20% nitrates. We don't have to do no water changes. You know what I'm saying?
The water change schedule is just that. It's a option. Okay, I've got this many fish in the tank. I know from past experience that they're going to produce this much waste. So I know that tomorrow I'm going to have to do a 50% water change. And I may have to do a 50% water change on that tank
2 days later.
every 3 days.
If you have it packed full of fish.
Yeah. Okay. But that's still.
But you're still not going by what I said.
If I come in the next day and that tank's milky, water change. I don't care what my schedule is.
Right. Well, now see, now milkiness isn't necessarily water change.
No,
It could just be a bacterial bloom.
Yeah, I know.
And you got to wait 3 days for that to go away.
I've been around long enough to
And it doesn't necessarily need a water change. But yes, you know, water changes come in handy. And the only right way of telling when you need a water change is when your nitrates are up above 40. You definitely need a water change at that point. Now, here's the thing. You do a water change at 40 parts per million, you do every other day water tests until it comes back to 40 parts per million. At that point, that could be 3 weeks for you. It could be a week for you, depending on your bio load in the tank. Then you'll know that every week I have to do a 50% water change, or every 3 weeks I have to do 50%.
If it required every weekly, I think I'd be looking for something dead in the tank. I just lost something, man. I mean,
well, our thing is it's different. We have fish coming in all the time, so we can't do that. But that's the way anybody should do it that has a tank at home with an amount of fish that you're not changing. You know what I'm saying?
I had a great big piece of driftwood in a 90-gallon tank that was a beautiful nitrate sink. It just sucked up the nitrates. All of a sudden, it decided to release all of its nitrates. My God, man, that tank went nuts. But it was my
Ross Dingo says Jerry kills 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
He gets the tanks changed and the floors clean.
There's 2 main parts to my job around here. One is keeping the floors wet.
No, that's not part of your job.
And the other part of the job is to give these guys something to edit from their videos.
I'm wearing wet socks right now.
So am I.
We did not have to have wet socks today.
And it didn't do a damn good bit of good for Josh to tell me how to handle that sump. Because what it was something neither of us was expecting.
Yeah.
So,
the overflow got plugged.
Yeah, it wouldn't have, it wouldn't have done any good anyway.
But you could have
I'm trying to figure
hooked up
out
a hose to it and then ran it to the sink to keep it down low and not overflow.
if I'd have been sitting right on it all day, yeah.
No, you
No.
just siphon it out.
When I first got into it, it's starting to drip and run down on the floor. Then it went back down again.
Okay.
After I checked the hose, the drain and everything,
Right.
did what Josh told me to do, and it goes back down again. And I'm going, yeah, thank you. And I go on to the next problem. Okay.
And then you weren't in the fish room the rest of the day, and we go out there and it was flooded.
I was in the fish room all morning. I did a water change on
Yeah,
the
up until 11.
540.
But
I did,
you know, the point is,
until-
the rest of the day we go out there at 4 o'clock and it's flooded.
yeah, well, it all happened up. I mean, it took it a while.
It could have happened at 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, evidently whatever was blocking the drain released and then blocked again. Otherwise, anyway.
Richard Jones says, "Why has an animal channel asked you to program about fish?" We were right before COVID. We were approached by 3 different production companies. We signed with one. They gave us a $10,000 signing bonus, and then COVID hit, and then their company went under, and we have not been approached since. But yeah, we were approached for a channel, and they were looking to shop it on a bunch of different channels.
Or just recently somebody tried to scam you.
Yeah,
Like that.
and that sucked.
Well, I gotta go get my chores done and stuff. I don't know, checking that stump myself again.
Colin
Got me
Trish says,
nervous.
Jerry does a good job helping. Everyone can make mistakes. Don't get mad at Jerry. We're not mad at Jerry. Stop it.
Jeez. Ah,
Depth Charge called us Laurel and Hart. Fuck you,
no,
Depth Charge.
that's right. Haven't come
Love you,
to
but fuck
maybe.
you. Train Club says, Big Rich, how do you deal with algae? Well, whenever you have an algae problem, for one, turn off your light, stop feeding so much, clean your gravel, and then in the next few days it'll disappear. You are overfeeding, or you're keeping the light on too long, or there's too many fish in the tank. Algae grows from phosphates. Phosphates only build up because of excess food and debris. You know what I'm saying? Sue Ann says Jerry should share the behind the scenes with Reed. You know, I've talked to Josh about this forever. Josh is wanting that second channel back so bad because Reaper's back down to only making $200 a month with it, and we gave him the channel at $1,000 a month. And anything over 1,000, we're supposed to split. And the whole 2 or 3 years he's had it, we've never gotten any funds from that channel. So Josh has been, adamantly for the last, I don't know, almost a year, he wants that channel back. And he's like, he'll do that channel and get it to make money again. But, I can't do my boy Reaper like that, so, I mean, we're in a situation. What's up?
I get my phone.
Okay, so I can move over and be the center of attention. Okay, I'm in the center of the call me Scott.
Oh, yeah, yes. Done well, people.
So bye, Jerry. Nate says Reap needs to step it up with the videos and I told him the most important thing is to keep it steady. If you're putting out 2 videos a week, keep putting out 2 videos a week. Never change, because people get used to when they're expecting a video. If you're putting 1 out this week and 3 out next week and then 1 out the week after, they don't know what's going on and they don't see it. You know what I'm saying? It has to be continuously the same. And that's one thing he don't do. He'll go 3 weeks without a video and then put out 2 videos, So Josh is mad that Instagram and TikTok don't pay nothing no more. He's willing to forget about those 2 and start a second channel here because YouTube pays the most and get us some money. We're only making like $2,300 a month now. And that's with, me putting out 2 videos a week and him putting out 1. So we put out 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're consistent. We never, every once in a while, like on a holiday, I make up for it the next day. But, so, I mean, I don't know. It's just rough. It's hard, He's willing to give up all the shorts and he's doing on these other channels because they're not paying nothing. Like last month, we have 800,000 people on TikTok. He made $60 from it. And he puts out shorts all the time on TikTok. At least 2 a day or something like that. And he ain't making nothing compared to if he took over a second channel on YouTube. If he got just as many people as me, I've only got 180,000 and I'm making $2,300 a month. And it helps me pay for the thing. Granted, our bills are like $3,500 a month, and the rest comes out of my pocket. So I would love to make my channel bigger, but it just don't happen, Nate says Josh should take that 3rd channel if it still exists. It does. We were going to start putting out all of the live streams on the 3rd channel because the live streams actually hurt our algorithm for the main channel. So, I don't know. He's saying Josh should take that one over and start it. He can. Harley Jump says, if our channel should put out an extra video or 2 a week. Are you shitting me? Do you know how hard it is to come up with 3 titles, 3 thumbnails a week? I mean, I don't get a day off. It's crazy. I'm trying to do all this, but yet I got a video tomorrow. Oh shit, I got to make the video. I got to edit the video. I got to upload the video. I got to produce the video. I got to, put a thumbnail up for the video. I got to come up with a title for the video that everybody likes. It's crazy, It's crazy. Ronaldo says, Rich, if Josh takes over the second channel, who will do the rescues? Well, there's one of the dilemmas. You know what I'm saying? But Reaper's not making much. He took a channel we gave him making 1,000 a month, and he brought it down to 200 a month, and that's nothing more than car problems, laziness, and this and that, because he don't come over and make a video all the time. If he stayed consistent, it would have still been making $1,000 a month, and then it would have grew with more people, and then we'd be making. We gave him the channel. Here's $1,000 a month you can make. Anything over $1,000 a month, you split with us. It's still an incentive to grow. You're making $3,000 a month. You get the first 1,000, then the second, 2,000, you split with us. We get 1,000, you get 1,000. That would have been great, but we're not, and that would have actually covered the cost of all of our bills here, because our bills are like $3,600 a month without medication, just the normal bills. So yeah, he just needs to get on the ball and stay consistent and get his people back again. Taylor says, I think Reaper's content is really good. I don't understand how to make money on YouTube. The more people you have on YouTube, the more people can have ads for anything, and then the more people watch the ads, the more money you make. It's all on ad revenue. Fish says, I told my wife, if God forbid anything happened to me, call OFR to come get my 7 tanks of fish. Oh, well, thank you. Loren says, Doopy, and a bunch of shit after it. I'm not even going to try. It's all in Dutch. Fish says, I only trust OFR to do it right. Oh, thank you. Doopy says, people do double live streams nowadays, one in normal format and simultaneously one live stream in short format. You should get a lot more traffic with the short format. Here's the deal, Doopy. I used to make $300 to $500 a night on my live streams. Now I make $60, $70 on Fridays. It's not about the money no more. It's only about me hanging out with my friends and having a good time. This is my only time to get out. I can't go to bars. I can't go out. I can't hang out at my friend's house. This is my only time out. So this is my breakaway. So even though we're not making money at it no more, I still do it. But, MB says, when will you set up the 600-gallon tank Reaper picked up from New Jersey? Pretty soon. We got much more impeding things. Like the tank can sit at Josh's house in his basement. It's warm. Everything's good. We don't need to set that tank up right away. We need to get the glass in for the 4,000 and the tanks above it on our system and run our drainage system so that the 3,000 and the 4,000 are on our system. That comes first and foremost. Randy Davis says, life is so, I got the hiccups. I must be getting drunk. Life is so hard sometimes, Rich. You do enough. Oh, thank you. Sue Ann says, Reapers behind the scenes is awesome. It shows the hard work of the rescues. Showing Jerry on tours gives insight. Oh, for sure. It definitely does. But I'm just saying, he needs to keep it consistent. We gave it to him making $1,000 a month. Me and Josh brought it up in 2 months, making $1,000 a month. And then we gave it to Reaper. You can make this $1,000 a month. Anything above, split with us. Now we don't have to do nothing, and we're getting residual money coming in for nothing. It's never happened in the 2 or 2.5 years he's had the channel. We've never made nothing. It's Reaper went from $1,000 a month down to $200 a month for the last 6 months now. So it's not good. Ronaldo says, Rich, if you have to hit the dating scene like you mentioned, what kind of woman will you be looking for? Does she have to be into fish? Absolutely not. But I'm stuck on stupid with, I love tiny girls, like, 5 foot, 5'2", 5'1", 4'11". I just love tiny girls. To me, when they get mad at me, I'm just like, oh, they're so cute. You know, she's stomping her feet and yelling at me. I'm like, oh, you know. But when a big girl gets mad at me, I'm just like, oh, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? So I think tiny girls has a thing for me because I feel like they they're so cute. They're so adorable. Even when they're mad, they're adorable. And that's the kind of woman that I like. That's why I love Tracy. She's only 5 foot, you know, 101 pounds, you know, and she stomped her foot and come after me with a wooden spoon. I'd just laugh and run, you know. It's so cute. But now if a 250-pound woman, 6 foot tall, come after me with a wooden spoon, I would not take that nicely, you know. Ooh, no. Camel Dan says there's another YouTuber that I watched that got a pond and he's going to put gar in it. I told him to contact you if he had any questions because he was unsure of the fish. Of course, we'll help out anybody. Nate says Bama Bass. MB says, when will you be able to ship fish to people who want to adopt fish? Right now, we don't have like a Delta Airlines, you know, setup. We don't have any of that. And right now we don't need it. And then you're putting the big fish at a larger in danger situation. You know, people can come pick up and they drive 40 minutes to their home. They can put their fish in a tank. You ship it and it's going 24 hours before it gets up to you. That fish has to stay alive. We don't have the oxygen. We don't have the bags. We don't have the boxes. We don't have none of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we've never got into shipping. Train Club says Jerry's kind of short, huh? You can stop right there with your thoughts. What the fuck? Harley Jump says, oh my God, tell me I'm cute when I'm pissed and you would regret it. I'd be running from you laughing as you chasing after me with a wooden spoon in your hand. It's so adorable. You're so tiny. You're so cute. James McNally said, so if you earned enough money for your rescue without doing the live YouTube videos, would you end the live stream? I hope not, because I've got used to hearing about your Tracy and behind the scenes. Absolutely not. This is my day to get out and hang with my friends, people that actually care, people that like what I have to say. You know, I'm not going to a strange bar and trying to get drunk or have fun or whatever. I get to go on my Friday night live stream. I get to have fun. Of course I wouldn't end it. It don't make money no more. And I haven't ended it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, okay. Gabrielle Ramirez says, that's a good question. If I want small fish like cichlids, would you ship? We haven't had to get into it yet because we're not stumped. We're not like, oh my God, we got so many fish. We need to, if that came up, then we'd have to start shipping. But we haven't hit that, you know, milestone yet. So we don't have to ship yet. Timmy Tyrone says, have you ever worked with predatory fins? From the beginning of them becoming predatory fins. When they first chose their name, we've been there. You know, down in Florida, we went to their Monster Fish Bash. We were there. I helped them set up tanks. Of course, you know, me and Rod are like this. Rod came to my house. We hung out here for the weekend. You know, he's been to my house like, I don't know, 7, 8 times, and stuck, you know, hung around for the weekend. And he says, it seems like you're running out of space for more tanks. Do you have any plans on expanding the rescue? Not so much expanding, but we have been recently in the last year replacing smaller tanks with bigger tanks. Like if we get an 8-foot tank and it's a 240, then we get an 8-foot tank that's 600, it's taller. We can put that in the place of the 240 and sell the 240 and get some money for the rescue. And now we've got a bigger, better tank. You know what I'm saying? Channel Dan says, have you teach Sue Ann to cook yet? Love you, Sue Ann. Deb Chard says, don't tell her to calm down. Boy, she's got to be steaming over there right now. Calm down, Sue Ann. Calm down. Oh, I love it. Nate says, Rod even got in the mermaid suit in the Monster Pond. Yes, he did. He was dressed up as a mermaid, bra and all. It was hilarious. We had a great time. Toompi says, how many rays did you have from predatory fins? Like 40 or something? Yeah, we got 40 rays from predatory fins. Then they needed money for their new building, and they sold 20 off. So then next thing you know, we have only 20 left. He came here, he picked out the 20, he sold them off, boom, boom, boom. Then, we go to return them to him, and everybody's like, well, would you kill all the rays? I'm not supposed to tell people he sold them, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, what the fuck? Why are you guys, jumping to that? Next thing you know, DIY Joey's telling everybody how we killed all his rays, and then we had to put up a video of, Rod taking 20 rays back to his shop and saying, no, they didn't kill nothing, blah, blah, blah. So Jimmy Tyrone says, would you ever put live cameras in the pool pond? It would be ace. Actually, we're working on it right now. I'm trying to find another laptop where I can have it set up outside with the OBS software and have a underwater camera in the thing and stream to Twitch 24/7. We're working on that right now. Yeah, Harley Gem says, Rich put chicken around his neck to imitate Rod. Rod has no neck, so he has these big, huge neck muscles. So I wrapped them in plastic, but boneless breasted chicken I taped onto myself so I had no neck. Then I put tennis shoes on my knees so I walked short like Rod is. And I walked around like this. This was hilarious. It was so funny. Oh my God. It was so funny. Mezzy Aquatic says, I would have loved to have seen Rod knock Joey out. Me too, but Joey wouldn't fight him, so we went on. Joey fought LRB Aquatics, which I had already smacked and knocked out. And, he was here. He was an asshole. He usually gets high. He was here and he drank. Then he got to be drunk and he accused me of hitting on his ex-wife and got in my face. And I kept telling him, dude, I love you. I would never do that to you, blah, blah, blah. And he kept spitting in my face as he's yelling at me. I ended up knocking his ass out. I hit him one time and he hit the floor and he wakes back up and he comes back in my face and, this and that. And I made him leave and go home. And, ever since then, he's like down in Florida now. He moved. He's telling everybody that I grabbed his old lady's boob, and that never happened. She walked past me. This is what happened. She walked past me and goosed me on my two sides right here because I was leaning against the counter. So I was like, oh, shit. I turned and I goosed her on her two sides from the back. And then, LRB says, oh, my God, I saw her boob move. You're trying to. No, dude, that never happened. No, absolutely not. I would not do that to you, fucking. And he kept on asking, or yelling at me. And I got to the point after 20 minutes, I'm like, dude, seriously, stop spitting on me. Get the fuck out of my face. And I pushed his chest back. And he came back in my face. And he started yelling again. And when I nailed his ass. I split his lip open and he hit the ground and passed out for like 5 minutes. He gets back up and he's all mad. I told him to leave, I don't, he can't handle his drinking. He cannot handle his drinking. He can smoke dope all he wants, but I've never seen him drunk before. And we were friends for like 2 years. I've never seen him drink before. He drank that night and it got out of hand. And, it was crazy. Camel Dan says, do you ever work with a veterinarian for problems with your fish, or do you try to resolve them yourself, such as surgery or whatnot? We do everything in-house that we can do. When we find something we can't do, like we got 2 baby fly rivers in, and they were covered with this, like, it looked like moles all over them. I took them in there, and the guy was like, these turtles are going to die. But if you want to try, here is some steroids. Here is some antibiotics. You got to shoot them in their right arm one night. The next night, shoot them in their left arm. The next night, shoot them in their right arm. And then we did this. We saved one of them, and one died. And we did this, for like 2 weeks straight. It was crazy. But Train Club says, was she short? No, she was about 5'7". She was a tall girl. Mezzy Aquatic says, drink brings out the worst of some people. Yeah, this is true. And Jane now says, is it that Canadian you're talking about? No. Sue Ann says, Lucas won the fight punch for punch against, the Canadian queen, but it was a paid for fight. Yeah, I get that. Joey stopped messing with Rod because he thought he was going to lose, so he started in on Lucas and got Lucas to, do this fight with him. And Lucas is like probably Joey's weight or 10 pounds lighter, where Rod was like, 30 pounds heavier. And Rod lost a lot of weight to do this fight, MB says, do you have any Fly River turtles for adoption? Of course. I think we have 7 of them out there. All I know is Lucas was my friend, and now he's POS. I get calls from people saying, oh, he's still talking about how you grabbed his woman's boob. That never happened. It never happened. This was like 4 years ago. I was still, so, I loved Tracy. I would never hit on anybody else. She tickled me, I tickled her back, and that's all it was to it. She was a woman, so I treated her nicer than Luke. Like, we're in the backyard at the fire pit. Her and her son were here, and he introduces me as his ex-wife with his son. So when we get done at the fire pit in the back, we're going up to the house. It's muddy. I'm like, why don't you and your son jump on the front of my four-wheeler? And I took it easy, and I went through the river, and we came up, and we went to the house. And then I'm in the house, and, she was out there waiting for Lucas to come up. And then when she came in, she walked past me and goosed me. I turned around and goosed her, and that was it. That was it. All of a sudden, now I'm grabbing her boob, and he's a piece of shit. He can't handle his drinking, and if I do catch him, because of all the running his mouth he did, I'm going to smack him up inside his head again. And nobody has the right to talk about me like that. I don't do nothing wrong. James McNally says, is your GoPro turtle up for adoption? No. He is he's a pinnacle here. He is part of the OFR. He is well known. Everybody knows him. Hubert, he will not, no, we're not getting rid of him. But MBE says, is Jerry allowed to bring women back to the house? Of course. Jerry's got his own room. He can do what he wants. You know what I'm saying? Nate says, if Jerry brings a woman home, it better be on video. Well, we would definitely do that. James says, okay, just checking. Okay. That's like saying, hey, James, you're allowed to come here and spend the weekend, but your woman can't come. What the hell is that shit? Harley says it right. Hubert is an OFR ambassador. Of course. Dude, I'm out of my 4th drink. Wow. How many people we got on here? How many current viewers we got, guys? Come on. How many current viewers? Jimmy Charon says, how long has Jerry been with you? Probably, I'd say 2.5 years now. Going to be 3 pretty soon. Okay, 150, 147, 147. DT Knox put in $5 and says, thanks for your entertainment and the grape crush recipe. Have one more drink with us. Okay. You guys can sit a second. I'll go make another drink and I'll hang out with you guys a little bit longer. Okay. Be right back. Okay, Peter? Okay, guys. So on top of doing the diet I've been doing, I've been working out a little bit too. Trying to gain some muscle while I'm losing the fat. So I don't look so damn skinny. Doompy says vanilla vodka. No, I don't drink that no more because there's like 90 calories and 30 carbs in it. I drink regular vodka with my Grape Crush because there's 2 carbs and 30 calories. So no more vanilla. Dreamland, I don't know what you're saying here. I don't think anyone's personal life should be broadcast on video. It's nobody's business. Well, in the case of Lucas Bretz, he's out down there doing the Florida show, and I'm getting calls from every influencer around. Dude, Lucas Bretz said you grabbed this old lady's boob. I'm like, I'll kill him. I'll beat his damn ass, you know? So if you want to act like I'm doing something wrong here, I'm sticking up for myself. He's lying. I was here. I was nice to his ex-wife, and that's all it was. He got drunk for the first time, and he can't handle his drinking. So I will put his business out there because he's putting my business out there, making me out to be like a predator. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing like that at all. Nothing like that happened. I have like 5 other people that were here that saw everything. And, you know, Mass Monster Fish was here. He saw the whole thing. And then after I hit, you know, Lucas, he grabbed me from behind and held me back. He's like, Rich, stop. You're going to go to jail. And I'm like, fuck that motherfucker, you know? And you know, he saw everything. Everybody that was here, Joshy, Richie, Mass Monster Fish, everybody saw that I did not touch her. I only goosed her back from behind on her sides. That was it. And he's spreading these lies. So yeah, I'll talk about it. And you know. DT Knox says Big Rich gonna be small rich after this weight loss. Well, I'm committed. I don't want to be big and alone. And at this point, it's been 6 years. As of February 5th, it'll be 6 years Tracy's been in this thing. And you know, the doctor told me the first week she's on 8 machines. You should pull the plug. She has no brain activity. She's, you know, completely surviving on these machines. If I unplug any one of them, he had me and all 3 of my sons and all their girlfriends or wives at the time crying. And another doctor come in and said, listen, it may be the CAT scan may be wrong because she had her brain swollen from lack of oxygen. Let's go ahead and wait a week, and then we'll give her a CAT scan again next week. And in that next week, when this fucking doctor, Dr. Kumar, said that she will never come off these machines if she gets unplugged from any one of them, it will kill her. She worked off of 7 of those 8 machines. The only thing she was on was the respirator that went down her mouth, and you know and that was it. So the next Friday it came up, she was off 7 of those machines. So fuck Dr. Kumar. You don't know what he's talking about. And she had plenty of brain activity. So now here's the thing. I hear that, you know, people have woke up 5 years, 10 years, 15 years later and are fine from a coma. Well, Tracy woke up out of a coma in a year, and she's been in a vegetative state for about 5 years now. She has grown and she has done more things, but we're at that point where, you know, she needs to be able to answer the doctor when he's here once every 3 months, like squeeze his hand, blink her eyes, something, you know, and she's not doing that. So this may be as best as she comes back. No one knows. The only thing is, I've gone 6 years without a partner, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be alone and fat. So that's why I've gotten into this and gotten skinny, you know, or getting skinnier. Okay, here's another one. Train Club says, Big Rich, do you have any relationship advice for this guy I know, Luke? His mom beefs with his girlfriend. She's short, by the way. They fight all the time about her job and Tim Hortons. At Tim Hortons. Okay, well, if she's short, tell her come see me. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, the main thing is your parents care about your best welfare. Her mom might not be thinking that she's the best for her son, but it's really none of her business. If your buddy Luke loves this girl and wants to be with her, he should get out and get his own place and live his life. He can't be at his mom's and then try and make her happy, because nothing he'll do will make her happy, because in her eyes, her son is better than, you know, any of this girl you get with. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. So, and there's no way other than getting them in a room and having an arbitrator right here saying you shouldn't treat her like that, you shouldn't treat her like that, and figure out a way to have everybody coexist. You know what I'm saying? And that's a rough one right there. Richard Jones says, do you have times when you can just look after Tracy? Yeah, oh yeah. I work, my scheduled work is 60 hours a week. I take care of Tracy. I have day nurses, I have night nurses. The problem is when one of them don't show up, they don't show up for their 12-hour shift, I have to take that on. That's 72 hours a week. If there's 2 days in a row, now it's 84 hours a week, you know? It gets crazy. And I will never fall asleep on Tracy again. I fell asleep taking care of her, I don't know, 6 months ago. And the day nurse came in and Tracy was covered. She was soaking wet. Her bib had fallen off and all of her slime had come down and covered her shirt and dripped all over it. It was all in her arm area right here. And the day nurse just screamed and yelled at me. I've been taking care of her for 7 years and this never happened before. This was a thing where I actually fell asleep at the same time. I didn't plug my phone in, so it went dead, so my alarms didn't go on. I felt like shit. You know, I will never put Tracy through that again. So since then, I do not even lay down. I do not even nothing. I stay awake for Tracy until it's time for my shift to be over with. and then the nurses take over. I go and go to sleep. So yeah, it's rough, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, and I'm not going to be. No one is going to be able to tell me that I don't take care of her good enough. I will step up. I will do whatever it takes. I will stop whatever I'm doing to feel that way. I will never be that way. You know what I'm saying? Depth charge says they told me my dad had 5 to 7 days left. The next day they said 2 months of rehab and he'll be fine. Yeah, that's a mind fuck for sure. J Rod says, what is good? How are you? Been feeling rich? And how is Jerry? Cheers to you guys. Well, thank you. Here's cheers back, right back at you. DT Knox says your kids need you to. No, they don't. I raised them and they were gone. They moved out and they've never looked back. They, you know, come over and help whenever I need them to, but they have their own families, they have their own homes, they have everything, you know. But they don't need me. I wish they did. Harley Jeff says, I wish there was a workaround getting her to the next level because of her narcolepsy. Well, narcolepsy isn't the problem. It was the absence of oxygen because she had bled out so much and puked and didn't tell me. So when I did all that, what do you want to call that? You do 30 compressions and 2 breaths, CPR. When I did all that for that 8 minutes until the medics got here, she didn't come back until they put that machine on her, right? And now the doctors tell me if I'd have lifted her legs and had somebody to hold her legs up while I was doing CPR, she'd have had more blood flow. That tells me that it's my fault, that I didn't know, that I didn't do enough. Fuck. I'm sorry. I just have to live with this, that I didn't know enough. I'm not a fucking doctor, you know? And I wish I could have done more. I didn't know what to do. I've never been with somebody that died on me, you know, that had a cardiac arrest. I didn't know. I did everything I could to do what I knew. But who knows to lift her legs while you're trying to do CPR? Why would you do that? You know, to get more blood flow up here. She's so low on blood now because she's been puking it out. She has a upper respiratory, you know, inclusion, and all this blood's going to her stomach and she keeps puking it out. But because I gave her narcolepsy medicine, but she'd go in the bathroom and puke it out. So she was in a delusional state. She didn't realize how much blood she was puking out. I didn't see it because I would take her to the bathroom. She said she has to go, and I'd say she'd come out of the bathroom. She'd be like, I puked my brains out. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. And I'd put her back in bed and I'd cover her up, you know. And even like 15 minutes before she died, I have a video of her saying, thank you for taking such good care of me. I'm like, honey, you seem like death. You seem, you know, really, you're not you. And she, I asked her, what's my name? Because the day before she didn't know my name. I asked her, what's my name? And she goes, Richard Price. I'm like, oh my God, you know my name. You're coming out of it. I thought things were getting better. And then I talked to the hospital because when she coughed, she had these black spots on her hand. The hospital said, she's bleeding internally. You need to get her in here. I'm like, I've been trying to get her in there for the last 4 days. You guys sent her home. I took her to the Cleveland Clinic, and they said she has an upper respiratory infection. Here's some medicine. Send her home. But here she was bleeding internally that whole time. She had coughed so much from having COVID that her esophagus ripped open and she was bleeding into her belly. So the only thing it did was every single day she had less and less blood. So she was looking pale. And I didn't know any of this as a doctor. I didn't know any of this. She didn't tell me she's puking blood. She just told me that, you know, she puked her brains out. And that was it. And, you know, it fucking killed me that I had her there. And if they'd have just taken her in, this would have never happened. And Tracy'd still be here right now. So, I don't know. Mandy says, Tracy is improving all the time. Rich, for what you are doing for her. It's great that you are there. Well, she's like family. She's like one of my kids. I got to take care of her. Nobody else is. She didn't do good in the nursing homes. She in 7 months she turned toxic twice. Had bed sores all over her. I got her home here, not one bed sore in the last 4.5, 5 years. She'd never gotten toxic and had to go to the hospital. Nursing home did not help her. I'm thinking if they would have done better at their job, she may not be this bad now, because, you go toxic, you're going to the hospital, you're ready to die. Are they not giving her oxygen levels? Is it not helping her heal? Did it hinder her healing? You know what I'm saying? Since she's been home, she's been so good and so, I don't know. I hate the hospitals. I hate the nursing homes. They're all horrible. All right. Jim Tyrone says, I live in England and my brother just told me you don't lift legs to do CPR. He works in a hospital. You are a great bloke, and Tracy is getting good all around care of you, and you fell asleep once in 7 years. Well, thank you. That helps me. But the doctor said, because I was giving her CPR on the bed, because when she died in the bathroom, I grabbed her, I bear hugged her, and I brought her out and I threw her on the bed, and I started doing CPR, and I called 911, and, they didn't tell me nothing. You know what they were like? I called 911, put it on speakerphone, threw it down, and I started doing CPR. The first push I did, all this black, rotten shit came out of her mouth. It looked like ground up coffee grounds. And I was like, holy shit. So I pushed on her solar plexus. I pulled her shoulder over, and she puked out like 2 more coffee cups full of this black shit. Then I laid her on her back, and I started doing that. And then I held her nose, and I blew in her mouth. I saw this on South Park, Cartman, and all that stuff. So I did this. But she was so low on blood that the doctor said if I would have had her on the floor, the CPR would have done better. And if I would have had somebody lifting her legs, the blood flow would have been to her abdomen, where I would have done better doing CPR. And that hit me hard, because here I am being a dumbass and I can't even keep her alive. I tried my best. I did everything I could. And, she died on me, and that was crazy. And now to find out I could have done more, it fucking sucked. I'm sorry. Fuck. Bathing Diamond says you wasn't trained. You didn't think the worst case scenario would happen. Treat Me Allergic says doctors these days are ignorant at times. One told my daughter I wasn't having a stroke. They waited till the next day, did an MRI, and found out that I did. Kept me from getting the proper treatment. See, that's what I'm talking about. Sue Ann said, I was just talking yesterday about that CPR. But see, how many people know to do CPR and then know that, oh, she has narcolepsy, so she's been giving her medicine, but she's been puking it out. She has a esophageal tear, and all this blood is going into her belly. I'm taking her up to the bathroom and letting her go to the bathroom. I don't want to see it, and she's puking, and all she ever did was she'd come out of the bathroom going, I puked my brains out. So slow and lethargic. That was her having no blood in her system. So, I mean, what doctor knows this? I didn't know this. I did everything I could to try and save her, and I hate the fact that the doctor said I could have done better. But how are you supposed to know that? I'm not sticking up for myself. I should have done better. She didn't deserve this. She was such a good girl. Diamond says they did that to my mom. She had a heart attack. They claimed she didn't until they did blood work. Yeah, they could have done much better if they knew right off the rip what had happened. All I know is I took her because we were both on, this is before COVID hit. We didn't know what it was. All I know is we were both so sick, and I didn't have no energy to get to the bathroom, from my bed to the bathroom. It's in my bedroom. I didn't have no energy. I've never been sick like this before. I I just felt like I need my mom here. I need someone taking care of me. I need my wife. Anything. And she needed the same thing. And then I'm taking her to the bathroom to puke, and I bring her back to the bed. I didn't know that her narcolepsy meds were not getting absorbed because she's puking them out, to where she's going into a delusional state. If you guys remember, she went into a delusional state for 3 months when Metro, she went in there for her broken hips, and they would not give her no narcolepsy medicine. She went into a delusional state for 3 months and didn't know me and the kids. So I had to take care of her then. And, it was crazy. I told them, she has to be on this medicine. You can't cold turkey her. And they're like, well, we don't have it here. I went home and got it and brought it in for them. And then they still did not administer to her. So it was just, like, you motherfuckers are professionals. What the fuck? I'm telling you, and you're not listening to me. I don't know. I know that if she would have went into the Cleveland Clinic, like I told them, she needs to be admitted. I can't take care of her like this. I said these words. She's like a puppy with parvo. If I go to pick her up, she'll shit her pants. She has no control. She's so weak. And they're like, no, she just has an upper respiratory infection. Take her home. I was like, you motherfuckers. And then 2 days later, when I called them and said, she's coughing up these spots on her hands. Oh my God, she's bleeding internally. Get her in here. She wanted to take a shower, and that's where she died, is in this shower, sitting in her shower stool. I just got done washing her off, and I'm on my hands and my knees, and I put the shower back, and she leaned against my back and let out the longest breath you've ever heard. It was just like, and she was limp against my back. I'm like, what the fuck? I turned around, and she had no heartbeat. I bear hugged her and threw her on the bed, and I called 911, and I started CPR. I did what I don't know. All I know is that motherfucking hospital should have kept her, and she would not have died. She'd still be here. She'd still be the queen of koi, Ron Dandelief says, Cleveland Clinic is amazing. They saved my life when I had cancer. Yeah, well, they sent Tracy home saying you just got a cold, basically, and did not admit her and would not admit her. I was telling them she needs to be admitted. She's horrible. DT Knox says, she's the queen of koi. You are the king of fish. Well, thank you. Oh, do you guys want to hear the newest? I guess my inbox took all the notifications I got and put it into the spam folder, because now someone else bought Ohio Fish Rescue as the domain name. And then another company bought Ohio Fish Rescue as the website. We're in battles with them. We're trying to buy it back, but we may lose our name. It's crazy. And, just because the notifications came in that I need to renew it, and I never got it, and it went into the spam folder. I'm like, I never received anything. And sure enough, looking back, there it was. It's crazy. Tim Tyrone says, you doing CPR and making Tracy cough that black stuff was a good thing, because if she didn't, Tracy might not be here. She definitely wouldn't be here now. But I could have done better if I'd have known more. And I'm a person, I know a lot. I pride myself on knowing everything. And I didn't know nothing about this, you know. Bathing for Diamond says, get a lawyer. We are. Josh is on it right now. James McNally says, is that copyright? Yes. The copyright thing, we can prove that we use the name a lot longer, but we didn't keep up with the payments of, you know, every 5 years you got to pay it. Well, when that payment came in, my mail sent it straight to spam. I didn't see it. I didn't know it. Out of sight, out of mind. I didn't know. I would have paid it if it came in. And the same thing with our trademark. So yeah. DT Knox says, contact the registrar, the domain you originally had. They will help you. No, they won't. I've tried everything. I've talked to them. It's owned by somebody else already. Some company up in Canada that has nothing to do with fish. They bought it. And I'm thinking they had to buy it for the purpose of selling it to us because we need the name. Period. Gabrielle Ramirez says, you guys are still OFR no matter what. At least fight for OFR. Well, we're trying. We're doing it. We're doing it. But, you know, we have no clue on how much it'll cost, or if we can get it back. We don't have no idea. Bathing for Diamond says, it's someone screwing with you from the sounds of it. It sounds to me like people are just buying every .com out there, and this became available without me knowing, and somebody bought it to only sell it back to us, so like 3 times the money, you know, type thing. Harley Jim says, those should come by snail mail if you didn't answer the email. Yes, that I agree 100%. Joopy says, those people get all the domains to sell back for a lot. Yeah, I get it. I understand the game. I understand the hustle, but we can't lose OFR, you know. TT Knox says, what is the drinking word? It's Marion, our night nurse. It's in a homage to her for being here, coming through the thick and thin snow. You know, she's always here. J Rod says, I'm very sorry. I wish I can help you out, Rich, so much that what are you doing now is totally worth it. Everything you do is the best at Ohio Fish Rescue. Oh, thank you. Baiting for Diamond says, train your crappy friend for telling his business. Ain't my friend no more. I was a friend to him, and he did that shit, and now he's been doing shit since. He's not my friend. If I go to the Florida, you know, Aquashella, I will snatch him up. I will catch him in the bathroom, just like jail. I will do something. Tim Tyrone says, has Jerry gone to bed or for a smoke? He went to bed. James McNally says, OFR is not OFR without Big Rich. Thank you. DT Knox says, if you can, super chat OFR. Well, thanks for that. Marion, here you go. Ronaldo says, Rich, do you think Skylar bought the domain name? No. Skylar's not an evil person. She is a nice girl. She was just raised wrong. She has an attitude and she has a selfish behavior. She's not a bad person. That's why I argued with Jerry. And Jerry just don't like her whatsoever. She always has to be the center of attention. Well, that's the way her parents brought her up. So It's not really her fault. She's not a bad person. You know, I love Skylar to death. She can come by here anytime. I'm not nothing like that. I just, you know, if she was raised different and had more respect, she could have stayed here. That's all. Like Weber says, just in case it happens, whether it be you or not, probably not best to say you'll mess him up next time you see him. Oh no, I've let him know. Period. You keep talking bad about me, I will stand in your face and ask you. And you know, whether I like his answer or not, I'm pretty sure I'm going to smack him. I may go to jail for a couple days. What's another assault charge? Fuck. Tim Tyrone says, how many YouTube channels has OFR got? We have our YouTube main channel. We have our OFR behind the scenes. And then we have another channel we started that we were going to put the live streams on, and then that got abandoned. So we have it, but we haven't used it. Sue Ann says, broke and out of work, but love OFR and the Fishy family and sent $10. You're out of work, Sue Ann? I thought you and your husband had the great jobs. What happened? But thank you. Thank you. I mean, love you. Ronaldo says, did Brock ever do the internship with Greg Wickstock? Yes, he did. For like 2 weeks, and he quit. He couldn't keep up with the workload. He was just, Greg called me. He's like, dude, what's up with this guy? I'm like, dude, I can't tell you. You know, Brock means well, but, you know, if you're working him hard in a normal, you know, working day, he may not be involved in that because how his parents brought him up, basically. Bathing for Diamond says, we don't need to go, no GoFundMe for bail money. You might. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Thank you for that. That made me laugh. Bathing for Diamond says, I don't think the senator has anything to do with trademarks. I could be wrong. No, basically it's smtp.gov. That is the trademark situation. Xanthi says the DIY guy is in Canada. Maybe he did the name thing. Long shot, but honestly seems like the kind of person who would be petty thing like that. He definitely does, but no, it wasn't him. It was a company. Blake Weber says, guessing it ain't worth it, but I don't know the full story. The full beef, I don't think. Maybe a boxing match I can bet on online. There's no, you can bet, but he's going to hit the floor within 3 seconds. He did before. He's nothing to me. TT Knox says, you've got a lot to lose now. Another charge isn't worth it. You've got how many gallons of fish? Tracy, the kids, grandkids. Come on, man. No more charges. I would love to have no more charges. I'm just saying, if I ran into him, I don't know what I would do. I have a certain anger in my heart towards him for what he's doing and saying against us. Tim Tyrone says, that tank behind you has lots of color, but on your videos, it doesn't look as though there are many fish in. Okay, here's what's happened to us lately. We have been on such a mode to fix things and build things and get things, projects done. We haven't done maintenance on tanks. That tank behind me, used to be that bright and that gravel's white. Now the gravel looks gray and dingy. the top of the tank is covered in algae. Josh has to, and me and him talked about it. He has to get in this week sometime. He's going to get in every single tank and clean off the whole top and let the light back through because it's so dark with algae that hardly any light's coming through. So everything looks dingy. He's getting in the 4400, the 1000, the 2 Bellagio tanks, and bring everything back to beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So that's what has happened. And I'm sorry about that. Anthony says, who was we referring to, the bad guy? Lucas Bretz, LRB Aquatics. Gabriel Ramiller says, Rich ain't no damn joke. Might be getting old, but you can, he's still a stud. Okay. I don't know what you were saying there, but thank you. James McNally says, how's Josh's feet doing? He's doing a lot better. Anytime he stays on his feet for a long time, his ankles start hurting yet. I told him that'll get better in time, you know. So he's doing okay. But, you know, if he'd have kept his braces on more, he could have came out with less pain. That's all. T-Rod says, who gives a shit about DIY guy? If anything is bothering you, you are wasting time in your life. Screw him, Rich at Ohio Fish. I love how you guys just like understand everything. I'm not even in a beef with him. You know, he leaves me alone. I leave him alone because he tried putting out something that put us down, and I replaced it with a video coming out from us that showed everything. I had proof of everything. Here's what he said. This is what really happened, and here's proof. And you know, he called me and begged me to take it down. I'm like, dude, you leave me the fuck alone. I'll leave you the fuck alone. You want to take your shit down? I'll take my shit down. And it's been that way ever since. So James now says, and how is Josh Jr.? Oh, he's doing so good. He's grown so quick. Oh my goodness. Train Club says, did Josh sue the Walmart? He wasn't at a Walmart. He was at a hotel. He came out of the hotel to walk into the parking lot next door and get his car, and that's where he got hit by a pedestrian that has no insurance. So Vasquez family says, we got your back, oh Big Rich and Ovar. Thank you. Tim Tyrone says, what's your opinion on the blokes that did tank? I never met Wade. I met Brett. And Brett's supposed to come here to help me redo. I've got 5 tanks from Tanked. He's supposed to help me redo this Dwight Howard tank into, you know, one of our tanks. And he just hasn't showed up yet. But I've had dinner with him. I've had like 4 or 5 shows with him where we were, you know, next door neighbors. And he's a good guy. But he's busy, so you know he's supposed to come by here, and I'm not holding him to it. Ugh. But he's a good guy. He said when I come to, you know, Vegas, he has a restaurant out there, and he has this one Stallone's Italian Eatery, and he has this one sandwich, and it's French bread, cooked open French bread, you know, the butter, all the seasonings and all that, and then he takes a slice of lasagna and puts between the 2 French bread. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I would love that sandwich. He goes, tell you what, when you come to Las Vegas, that sandwich is there waiting for you, and it'll have 2 slices of lasagna on there. I'm like, no way. Everything melted cheese between French bread. Oh my God, I want to live that life. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still waiting for him to come here. Xanthry says, what has the Lucas guy been saying then? Okay. I was with Lucas Brents for 2 years. I've already talked about this, but I'm going to recap it real quick. And then this last year, I got to meet his ex-wife and his kid. He said they were coming over so I can meet the kid. His ex-wife has nothing to do with him. I'm like, okay, well, being a nice guy, we're down at the fire pit and the ground's all muddy. I told her, get on the front of the four-wheeler. I'll drive you up there as careful as can be. And we went back to the house. Well, Lucas and my son and everybody else walked behind us through the mud. We get up to the house. I'm standing in my kitchen and I'm leaning against the counter and I'm writing something. She walks behind me and she goosed me with the 2 fingers like this on each side. And I'm like, whoa. So I turned and I goosed her from behind. Lucas was sitting there and he swore to God I reached from behind and grabbed her boob. And, you know, or not, he didn't say that at first. He said, I saw her boob move. You know, you're blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, no, I would never do that to you. Yeah, I love you. You're my friend, you know, fucking, I would not do that to you. You know, I've been cheated on before. I would never do that. And, you know, he kept on being mad and being pissed off. This is the first time he drank. I've known him for 2 years and all he did was smoke. Well, tonight he's drinking and he cannot handle his vodka or his alcohol. Okay. So he's going off the wall saying that I grabbed her and made her boob move and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I would never do that to you. And I got tired of being spit on. He's in my face yelling at me. And I'm like, after 20 minutes, I'm like, look, dude, seriously, I tried telling you I wouldn't do that. I didn't do that. For right now, back the fuck off. You're spitting in my face and I don't like it. And he got back in my face and started screaming and yelling at me. So I hit him. Busted his lip open down to his chin, and you know he's on the floor. He's out. And I'm like, I turned to his wife or his ex-wife, and I'm like, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean to hurt him, but you know he wouldn't stop spitting on me. And she's like, no. I saw you tried for the last 20 minutes to get him to calm down. He just can't handle his alcohol. And then he gets back up and he wants to keep on fighting. So you know his wife was grabbing him, or ex-wife was grabbing him and pulling him out the door, and you know they left. Everything was fine. And then for the next 6 months, every fish show that he went to, he told all the other YouTubers that he, you know, meets in there that I grabbed her boob, you know. So I called him. I'm like, dude, seriously, you can't tell people I did this. I that was not happening. And he hung up on me. So if he keeps this up, I'm going to smack the shit out of him. And he kept it up. So now I'm scheduled to go to the Florida Aquascape, and if I see him there, I'm gonna wait for him to go to the bathroom, just like jail, and I'm gonna meet him in the bathroom. Ain't no cameras in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Tim Tyrone says, if Brett and Wade from Tank asked to build you a tank, what would you choose? Okay, here's the thing. We need a tank bigger than everybody else has. And now Predatory Fins has some big tanks they got from Singapore. Big tanks, like 30 foot long, you know, 4 foot tall, I think 6 or 8 foot deep, you know, they're big, huge tanks. I need something bigger than that so that we are and keep our name as the best fish rescue ever. So I would add on in the back of my fish room, 45 foot wide by 16 foot, and then that would be filled up with a 10 foot deep from front to back fish tank, 8 foot tall and 43 foot wide, so we have room for the walls. That would probably be like a 8 or 10,000 gallon tank or 12,000 gallon tank, whatever it comes up to. But it's bigger than rods, so that's what I would buy, or I would have them make for me. Train Club says, Big Rich, you should have a TV show on Animal Planet. We've tried. I mean, we got a production company, 3 of them, that took our stuff and were shopping them to Animal Planet. And then because they were interested, this production company said they would give us a $10,000 signing bonus. Soon as we signed, COVID hit and their company went to hell. So now we're back to, you know, zero and no they came out here and started videoing too. They did like a week of videoing, and then that was it. The last we heard from them. Monster Fishing says, what kind of fish would you put in there? I would love a tank of nothing but Goliath African tigerfish, to where you can see them get 4 foot and they don't eat each other, and then they just eat everything we put in there. That would be amazing. But right now, Brett Raymer's supposed to come here and help me fix the Dwight Howard tank into a tank we can use. And supposedly at first it was supposed to be into a 1,000-gallon tank. But we found out later, because he told us it was 3 inches thick. When we got it here, it turned out only to be 1 inch thick. We cannot fill that with water up 4 feet tall. The deflection on that acrylic would be horrible. So Tim Tyrone says, have you ever had an alligator? Yes, we've had many different alligators. American alligators was our favorite. But then after they outlawed them, we've had a few of the, what do you want to call them? Dwarf caiman. And after that, now we're not allowed to have anything over 3 foot. It sucks, but. Are you okay, Beatrice? Tracy's out there beeping. I'm going to have to turn this on to see what's going on because she's not stopping it. Come on. There we go. Okay, she's changing her. She's just letting the machine go. Okay, we're good. We're good. Tim Tyrone says, when are you doing the snake or the tank for the snake? We already have it done. It's a matter of, we own the snake already. We have a green tree boa, and it's going to go into the Dwight Howard tank. Josh has to get in there. He said this week he'll do it and put in like a bedding, sand, and some other earth materials to where we can have little tortoises that only get like 6 inches all throughout the bottom. We can have, tree frogs. We can have other things in there and have it a whole living ecosystem. And then we're going to put the archer fish into the tank. So we'll feed them with crickets, and they'll shoot up water and get the cricket to fall into the tank. And that's it. We already got it worked out with Satu Aquatics. They're going to feed the green trio boa and be featured on our videos. So that's going to be great. Oh, you just saw me. I just came in. I wish I could rewind it. James McNally says, what happens if Tracy's nurses need to get to the toilet? There's a bathroom like 20 feet away from them they can go to. And if that's full, they can walk another 10 feet and go into Josh's room and use the spare bathroom there. Let's see if Skylar answered us back. Who's that?
What's up, bud?
Hey, what's up?
It's just me.
All right, Skylar has not answered us back yet, but we're good. Tim Tyrone says, sorry to ask, but what happens if you're poorly and it's your turn to sit with Tracy? Can you get cover for you? No, I have nobody that covers for me. Every time they call off every holiday, it's me covering for them. So, yeah, no, I don't have anybody that covers for me. It's all down to me. Manny Davis says, have you ever had an albino alligator for a rescue? No, we haven't. We've got albino alligator gar, but not an albino alligator. I would love to keep it for sure. All right, guys, I'm almost done. When this drink is gone, live stream's over. Ask your questions. James McNally says, what happens if Tracy's nurses need to go to the toilet? They go to the toilet. They just make sure that Tracy's suction before they go. She don't need a change. Everything's good. And then they go to the toilet. It's no big deal. Tim Tyrone says, you're an inspiration and 1,000% respect from me, England, to you. Oh, thank you. TT Knox says, is this a fish stream? I mean, I guess you can call it that. Monster Fishing says, what would you think about a tiger musk? I would love to have one. Doompy says, I just got a new one, Big Rich. A new what, Doompy? Richard Jones says, have you got an emergency button to the hospital? No, but we got 911 if we need. TT Knox says, how much to keep Rich for one more drink? I don't think you guys can afford it. And James McNally says, I've never seen an albino tortoise. They're out there. I've seen them. Tim Tyrone says, yellow labs, good or bad? I tell you what, I don't find a problem with yellow labs other than they will take over if you feed them enough. So if you've got other, cichlids you want to be even with, they will take over more and turn your whole tank yellow. Seriously. All right, guys, it's going on, what's this? 9:43, almost 10 o'clock. We'll have to quit at that time. Betty says, we all love you, Rich. You're one in a million. You are great. Aw, thank you. I need a wife that thinks like that. J-Rod says, what kind of fish can you put with a koi fish pond instead of just koi fish in the pond? You can do sturgeon and you can also do paddlefish. Both of them are great options and both of them are amazing. We only had so many sturgeon, so we didn't put them out there so that people can see them. But now that we're getting more, we're going to put all of our leftover sturgeon out there in the pond. And we've got probably, 12, paddlefish, and they're all getting about 20 inches. They're too big for our tank that they're in. So we're going to put them out into the pond too come summertime. So Master Fishing says sturgeon and paddlefish. Exactly what I just said. Train Club says tried your beta fish suggestion and it worked. Well, good. Appreciate it. All right, so we're down to just having Jerry here and the couple in the other room. The other couple is gone. So we don't have a lot of people going, oh, it wasn't me, and everybody breaking into the food around here. So Jerry isn't bitching to me about his food missing. Because me, I don't bitch at all. I don't care. I don't want food. I'm trying to lose weight. So I gave Jerry today any food that I could reach in the cupboard and try and cook quickly. I gave it all to Jerry. I'm trying to, lose the weight, and I don't know. Oh, you can. Doopy says, I believe, but not sure. You can put Chinese high-fin sharks with the koi. You can, and they grow up to 30 inches, but they lose their striping and their coloring. But I've never really seen one over 2 foot. I have like 6 of them now, and I'm loving the size they're getting. They're probably about 12 inches. They're amazing. I love them fish. But yeah, they can handle the cold for sure. Oh, J Rod, you're fucking up. He says, thank you so much. I just got a goldfish with my koi fish. I'm just wondering if I can put one or more different in my pond. You don't want no goldfish in with your koi fish. The goldfish will eventually take over. They'll have babies. They'll have more babies. The babies will take over. The goldfish will eat your koi babies. And next thing you know, you're going to have a goldfish pond with a couple of big koi. You don't want that. Master Fishy says, what an amazing live stream. Well, thank you. Sue Ann. She comes in. I cook, I clean, I got a smart mouth, got a room. You've got a husband. You shush, woman. He's a friend of mine. I know you ain't asking for serious. Hey, Steve, get a hold of your woman. Or depth charge. Oh, shit. I love you, Sue Ann. You're the greatest. We always have fun when you're here. Oh, Sue Ann says he comes with me, a package deal. Okay, now that sounds more familiar. Okay. That's funny. GT Knox says, Big Rich, #1 fish keeper. Thank you. William Price says, where do you get your fish food? We get a lot donated in from people. Like, we'll go and save a 75-gallon, and they'll give us, like, you know, a year's supply of food that they have stacked up there. And I pour out everything that's sinking into the cichlid tub, and then it's always mixed up. The floating stuff we give to other fish, and then we had like someone donated us 2 pallets of koi fish food, and we're just running out of that now. So now we need to get resupplied in koi fish food. James now says, you think the koi would eat the goldfish, swallow them whole? Nah, that don't happen. The goldfish grow, and then they eat all the babies. J Rod says, oh, wow, I didn't know that. So do you think I should just put more koi in my pond? How fish? Yes. The more koi, the better, but get rid of your goldfish, period. Shad Haley says, you do need help around the house. Of course I do. DT Knox says, I hope to visit OFR one day. Well, you let me know when you can. Doopy says, can Chinese hyphin sharks tolerate freezing temperatures? Yes, they can. They can go out into the pond, no problem. But the problem is, I don't have a tank where you can walk next to the pond and see the fish. You have to see them from on top. So then if a Chinese hyphin banded shark is like hanging in a rock, you don't see them, you know? So it's kind of rough being the fact that you don't really see the fish, you know, from on top. You know what I'm saying? James McNally says, even the koi carp? Yes, carp are goldfish. The koi carp only means it's a coloration like a koi. It's still a carp. It's still a goldfish. It still will eat the koi babies. Tim Tyrone says, I hate goldfish. They're shit machines. Dreamland Allergic says, will you be putting the baby paddlefish in the koi pond? We're going to keep 1 or 2 to put in there, but you got to understand that koi pond's kept at like 80 degrees, and they need to be at like 65 to 70 for their best optimum thing. But we're going to keep 1 or 2 in here and put the rest out in the koi pond so that we have some on display. Doopy says, I have seen videos of big koi eating little goldfish whole. Yes, but once the goldfish take over, it will be bigger goldfish eating the baby koi. And then you lost your battle. It's over with. Oh, Berto says, I'd like to see how big those paddlefish are in the koi pond. They're 36 to 38 inches. There's 3 of them in there. James McNally says, is it illegal for you to own small clawed Asian otters? That I don't know about, but I know that otters eat fish, and there's no place we can put them where they wouldn't eat fish. Manny Davis says, we're off to bed now, Rich. Thanks for answering our live stream. Have a good night, and give our love to Tracy. Oh, thank you, Manny. I appreciate it. Good night, Manny. All right, guys, we got about, I'd say, 10 more minutes. Come on. James now he says, so the Japanese breed big goldfish and not koi carp. Koi carp are a coloration of carp. They're still carp. Koi fish are a different thing. So, and you know, they get paid for a bloodline. Like this carp, this koi came from this koi, came from that koi, came from that the show award-winning koi, and then this is their babies. Carp are just, they eat everything in sight, and all the crap around a pond, you know, what do you want to call the algae, everything else. And then when, you know, koi have babies, they're a little bit more frail than the goldfish babies, so they get eaten big time. Doopy says koi means carp, not necessarily. Koi are a type of carp, but there's many different classifications and, you know, type things, and some of the koi are worth, you know, lots of money. All right, guys, we're closing up. We're getting ready to leave. All right. Zen T says, hey, Big Rich from Houston, if you had to make a decision to only have a pond or only fish tanks, which would you choose? I love ponds because it creates paradise. You know what? I don't want to give up my pond, but I also don't want to give up my tanks. On tanks, you can see from the side and you can see all the fish. On ponds, you can only see from the top and you can't see where they're hiding. So that would be a very hard question. I don't want to lose my ponds. I spent years building these ponds, you know. James McNally says, I get an education listening to you, Big Rich. Good night. Oh, good night, buddy. Bob Taylor says, well, it's been real great live. See you next week. Dream Allergic says, good night, Big Rich and chat. Been a great night. Sweet dreams. William Price says, oh, I like your last name. I like the idea of large African tigerfish. Of course. Who wouldn't? James McNally says, I can't wait till next Friday. Harley Jem says, have a great fishy week, everyone. Raheem says, my prayers for Tracy. Thank you, Raheem. Melissa Perry says, no yawning on the live stream, Rich. I'm sorry. Everybody's saying goodbye. TT Knox says, closing time, one last call for alcohol. So finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. What time is it there, Rich? It is, let me look, 10 o'clock, or like 4 minutes until 10 o'clock. I've been on here since 6 o'clock. 4 hours. I've been here 4 hours. DT Knox says, thanks for the entertainment, Big Rich. God bless. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, guys. We're out of here. I'm out of here. I've got, at 11 o'clock, I got to take care of Tracy. It's 10-something now. James McNally says, I'm going to make pancakes or crepes after the show. There's a big difference there. Pancakes are thick and airy. Crepes are thin and, you know. DT Knox says, I know who I want to take me home. I want to take me home. Now I know who I want to take me home. Home, take me home. I don't know what any of that means. Thank you. Suann says, bartender Rich. Only when you're here, Suann. Raheem says, second longest live stream. Well, you know, I enjoy my time with you guys. So I hang out with you guys. I appreciate it. All right, guys, we're out of here. This is my last sip. Good night. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. There's my three cups. We're done. All right, good night, everybody. I'm closing this down now. Close this over here.